Tonight from John Gursky Stadium in West Lawn, PCN presents the high school football game of the week. Tonight's matchup features the Manheim Township Blue Streaks taking on the Bulldogs of Wilson High School. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob McCool, and I guess you probably figured out the weather conditions for tonight's football game. Manheim Township and Wilson is the matchup. Identical records in Lancaster 11 League Section 1. The Blue Streaks and Bulldogs are both 7-1 and tied at 5-0 atop the Section 1 standings. The winner of tonight's game will have a stranglehold on the Section 1 title. Joining me in the broadcast booth tonight, my partner played for the Carolina Panthers and played for the Seattle Seahawks, and he grew up just a long post pattern from where we stand right now. His name is Matt Lytle, and Matt, a good portion of tonight's football game is going to be centered around the quarterback for Manheim Township. His name is Pat Bostic, perhaps the most highly recruited player in the state of Pennsylvania, and he's going to go play football for your alma mater, the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, Pat is looking forward. I'm sure he's looking forward to going to play at University of Pittsburgh. Matt Cavanaugh recruited me when I decided to go to Pitt. Dave Wanstadt, two guys that have played in the NFL, have been around football for a long time. I think Pat will have a great career at the University of Pittsburgh, and two guys to definitely learn from.
Well, he's going to face an interesting team tonight in Wilson, a very good defensive team, and a team, Matt, that really focuses a lot of what they do defensively with some active linebackers. So as a quarterback, Pat Bostic has to come up with a game plan of what to do to counter those on-rushing linebackers.
You're right. I think Pat needs to, he's going to be seeing more likely a 4-4. And when you see a 4-4, Pat's going to have a ball-controlled offense, do what Coach Melnick wants. That is, get the ball in a playmaker's hands, in Pagan and Ridinger. On the perimeter, get him the ball and let him make things happen on the perimeter in this wet, sloppy weather. It's hard to make solo tackles one-on-one in this sloppy weather.
Well, Wilson has themselves a playmaker as well at the wide receiver spot. Josh Smith might be the best athlete on the field, and as a quarterback, he's one of those guys who you just want to get him the ball somehow, some way.
You're right. Josh, he's a tall, lanky, quick guy. He's a guy that I'm sure Pat Bostic would like to have on his side. It's going to be interesting tonight to see how many balls you can get Josh to.
Over the course of this football game, one other thing to keep in mind, Josh Smith has also used his right arm to earn himself a scholarship at the University of Pittsburgh. It's on a baseball field, however. He's an outstanding pitching prospect. Wilson and Manheim Township, that's our matchup on the high school football game of the week on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Welcome back to John Gursky Stadium. Wilson and Manheim Township is our matchup on the high school football game of the week. Alongside Matt Lytle, my name is Bob McCool. And Matt, first thing that kind of jumps out at me when you take a look at numbers, and I've never been a guy that's big on how many points a team scores quarter by quarter, because I think a lot of circumstances can go into that. But when you take a look at Manheim Township, you can't help but notice the fact that Manheim Township, who runs a version of a West Coast offense, has scored 3 points in the first quarter. I'm not talking average. I'm talking total. In 8 games, a team that's scoring around 30 points a game has scored just 3 points in the first quarter. Talked with Mike Melnick about it before this football game. He said, we do script our plays, and we think we've got a pretty good game plan. We've talked about all kinds of different things, but we've just come to accept the fact that that's our personality. We've been a second-half team, but it's got to concern you at some point in time. 3 points over the course of 8 games total is a serious issue, and they've only scored 32 points in the first half in this season as well. So there's some concerns as to what they're doing with those scripted plays. Now, you've run a West Coast offense under a couple of coaches who have been a big part of it, and maybe the biggest guru of it all in Mike Holmgren. You've scripted plays out. What do you do when you're just not putting points on the board with those scripted plays?
Well, I know scripted plays is definitely gets the offense going, and normally you can tell watching an NFL game or any football game for that matter. Usually it's 15 plays, 15 offensive plays, and you can see, and watching the game you could tell that the game is moving along. Usually there's some scoring going on. I don't know, Coach Melnick, maybe he's doing a lot of running, trying to get the ball moving on the ground in the first quarter, but overall I think they are spread out. They're doing a lot of scoring. Most of their scoring's in the second half, though. I see what you're saying in the first quarter.
Obviously,
they are slacking.
Obviously, they are a second-half team so far this year, which is not the worst thing to be. The Township Blue Streaks will get the football to start this game. Obviously, we are under rainy, wet conditions tonight here in West Lawn, and the Blue Streaks will return it out across the 30-yard line, and that's where Pat Bostic and company will start for Manheim Township. Pat Bostic on the season, 130 for 197, a very impressive 66% throwing the football for just shy of 1,600 yards. He has 14 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions on the season. His targets, Jay Reidinger, number 1, and Nate Pagan, number 6. They are diminutive, to say the least, but he finds them often. As Reidinger will now go in motion from right to left, and Bostic wants to throw right away. Looking for Reidinger. Instead, he'll dump it to his tight end, McDonald. McDonald will make the catch in Wilson territory, down inside the 40-yard line to the 35-yard line. So Pat Bostic with a big hit, first time down the field. He finds Matt McDonald for a big-time first down. Let's take a look at the starters for Manheim Township on offense. Up front, the center is Tim Hahn. The guards, Tim Farley and Frank Rinaldi. The tackles, big Corey Fouts at 6'4" and 310. And the other tackle is Gene Gross. The tight end, the guy that just caught the football, Matt McDonald, 6'1", 225. The wideouts, as we talked about, Jay Reidinger is number 1, Nate Pagan is number 6. The fullback, sophomore Nick Sizemore. The tailback is a good one in Matt Minnick. And, of course, the quarterback is Bostic. It's Minnick on the sweep, and Minnick with a big hole up the middle. And Minnick is going to take it inside the 15-yard line, down to the 10, very close to a goal. First and goal situation for the Blue Streaks. And quickly, we'll look at the defense for Wilson. It is a 4-4 defensive alignment, as we talked about in our pregame. Up front, the ends, Kyle Krabs and Josh Alger. The tackles, Rodney Hill and Craig Birdsell. The outside backers are Andrew Borky and Jeff Deck. The inside backers, Colton Weaver and Jason Spittler. The corners, Josh Burkhart and Chris Hartzell. And the free safety is Josh Smith. First and 10 for Wilson at the 11-yard line. Now Pagan goes in motion right to left, and now Reidinger will also go in motion. Instead, it's the fullback Sizemore, and he is hit. And coming up to make the hit is number 48, Jason Spittler, one of those inside linebackers, Matt, that we talked about, coming in and getting some penetration. But obviously, Township's play calling early on looks pretty good.
Yes, definitely. We were just talking about that 15-play script, and Manheim started off quick. Nice touch pass to their tight end, Matt McDonald. Get him down inside Wilson territory, and last play they just ran the fullback, and Wilson's 4-4 defensive linebackers were all over it. So we'll see what this next play has to offer.
Looks like about a 4-yard loss coming up, second down and 15. Now Bostic wants to throw the football.
Quick
it
square
is
out.
incomplete. And Reidinger was the intended target, but it will be incomplete, and it will bring up a third down and about 13 for Manheim Township.
14-yard line.
So now Bostic will head back with his first long situation, if you will, third and 13. And we'll call it the 14-yard line. High formation behind him and a timeout called. Manheim Township will call a timeout. With 10:29 left in the first quarter, opening series, and Pat Bostic showing he can throw the football, and Manheim Township as well, Matt, showing they can run the football. They are not afraid to maybe offset those blitzing linebackers when they go with the run with Matt Minnick, and a big hole up the middle for Minnick to run through, and all of a sudden Township's knocking on Wilson's door. So Manheim Township will have it following the timeout. Third down and 13 from the Wilson 14-yard line. As the Township offense huddles around Mike Melnick. Mike Melnick was a place kicker at the University of Michigan, graduated in 1984, and kind of went back to the University of Michigan, hooking up with Scott Loeffler, who is now the quarterback coach at Michigan, and kind of drawing up this offense and styling it, Matt, a little bit like what Michigan does right now with Chad Henne at the controls.
Yeah, more and more high schools, colleges are going to this West Coast offense, ball-controlled offense, and get the ball in your playmakers' hands. Short passes, running, control style offense.
Following the timeout, third down and 13 for Township. Reidinger will now split out to the right. Pagan split left. Tight end McDonald switches from left to right. I formation behind Boston. They're going to keep it on the ground. Toss sweep. Minnick breaks one tackle, breaks a couple, and he'll get to about the 12-yard line before he's wrapped up, and it will bring up 4th down for Township. So this might be a microcosm of what we talked about with Manheim Township and those opening series, moving to football but not putting points on the board, and now they will apparently go for the field goal as they will bring on kicker David Soldner, who is 6 for 9 on field goals so far on the season. Derek Newpower is the holder, and he's going to take a knee at about the 19-yard line. A 29-yard attempt coming up for Soldner. Plenty of leg, and he splits the upright. So with 9 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Township has doubled their first quarter outputs on the season. It's now Manheim Township 3 and Wilson nothing. So again, if you're Manheim Township, first series for Mike Melnick. There you see Mike Melnick, the head coach, as he walks across your screen in a dark blue rain suit. And all things considered, Matt, you got to be happy if you're Manheim Township. You put points on the board in your first series, and it took you about, 5 plays to do it.
You bet. Pat Bostic did a great job managing the offense, getting the ball down in this rainy weather. Started off with a big pass, able to run the ball as well. All in all, it was a great drive. It's a shame just in 3rd and 13. Tough play, didn't capitalize, and ended up with a field goal. Starting off 3-0. Good way to start off the game.
So Township will now kick off, and Wilson will get their offense out on the field to start. And there is return man, the deep man is Alex Fegley, sophomore, is the deepest for Wilson. Fegley's going to set up shop inside the 10 at about the 7-yard line, awaiting the kick from David Soldner. Soldner is an outstanding kicking prospect, just a junior. He's 28 for 29 on extra points and now 7 for 10 in kicking field goals. His longest of the season is 46 yards. So he's got a good coach teaching him the kicking game in Mike Melnick, and Soldner, just a junior, is taking advantage of it. The Blue Streaks at 7-1 and 5-0 in Section 1 of the Lancaster Lemmon League, taking on Wilson also at 7-1 and 5-0 in Section 1. Soldner's kick will have Fegley pick it up at about the 13, 14-yard line. He's across the 20, breaks a tackle, still on his feet. Fegley breaks another tackle, and he's at the 40. To the 50, one man to beat. He's at the 40, 35, and finally going to get wrapped up inside the 25-yard line. Alex Fegley with a big return for Wilson, and the Bulldogs quickly in scoring position inside the Township 25-yard line. They will finally bring him down at the 21-yard line. Just what the doctor ordered, if you're Wilson, you fall behind early, and that quickly, Wilson gets themselves right back in it. And Steve Huber, the sophomore, will start at quarterback. Eric Weimer, the senior, and Steve Huber, the sophomore, have split time at quarterback for Wilson throughout the season, and Doug Dom said it really depends on the situation and the score as to what they're going to do. Huber, the better thrower of the two, and he will start 1st and 10 for Wilson at the Township 21-yard line. And Huber wants to throw for Josh Smith. Smith makes the catch inside the 5-yard line and wrestles into the end zone for the touchdown. Josh Smith puts it up for Steve Huber for a 21-yard touchdown score on Wilson's first play from scrimmage. So Matt Lytle, we talked about trying to get the ball in their playmakers' hands. Josh Smith is the playmaker for Wilson, and that's exactly what they did on the first play. They throw it for the corner and let the 6'4" Josh Smith just out-jump the defense.
That he is, Bob. Huber made a nice throw. It was a nice fade to Josh, to the front pylon. Great jump to the highest point, and Wilson's going to go up 7-3. It was a great pitch and catch from Huber to Josh Smith.
The extra point by Ryan Eversgerd is up and splits the upright, so it took them just 20 seconds, and Wilson puts 7 points on the board to score with 9:28 remaining in the first quarter. Wilson 7, Manheim Township 3. So the Bulldogs respond quickly. A game last year that was a slugfest between Manheim Township and Wilson. The final score 35-25 in favor of Manheim Township. Here we'll see the kick return by Fegley, Matt, and he just follows his wedge, waits for an opportunity, and then it becomes a foot race as he finds the gap. Great job by the sophomore, Alex Fegley, finding the seam and taking it, finally getting wrapped up at about the 21-yard line. And then on the first play from scrimmage, Steve Huber finds Josh Smith. Smith makes the catch at about the 3 and wrestles his way into the end zone for the touchdown for the Bulldogs and puts them on top 7-3. Eversgood will kick it off. And Josh Smith, with that touchdown pass, now has become the all-time leader in pass touchdown receptions for the Bulldogs. That is his 8th touchdown of the season. And Josh Smith, congratulations to Josh, now the all-time leading touchdown maker in terms of receivers in Wilson's football history. Long line drive kick that will be fielded by Reidinger about his 10. Reidinger will take it across the 20. And we'll get wrapped up at about the 25-yard line. And that's where Manheim Township will start their second series. 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks at about the 25-yard line. Pat Bostic and company will come out on offense. And Matt, age-old question. The rain that we're experiencing right now, does it favor the offense? Does it favor the defense?
I think it favors the offense. Like I said, it's sloppy conditions, but if you have a quarterback that throws a catchable ball, he gets it into his playmaker's hands. It's tough to make those solo or one-on-one tackles out on the perimeter, or that matter, up the middle of the field. It's I think definitely favors offense.
We'll wait and see how it plays itself out. Bostic wants to throw, and he's under a heavy rush. He's going to dump it off and throw it kind of up for grabs, really. He had 2 receivers in the area, Sizemore's fullback and McDonald, his tight end.
Felt the pressure there. That was a good job by Pat Bostic. Dropping back off his back foot, throwing the ball away to the near sideline, not taking the sack.
So he is under the pressure, and that's exactly what Wilson wanted to do. They're going to throw as many blitzes at them as they expect. Talking with Mike Melnick before the game, he said from watching game tape, he did not see a whole lot of blitzing schemes from Wilson over the course of the game films he saw, but we fully expect to see a lot of them tonight. 2nd down and 10 now for the Blue Streaks, again out of the I formation. Sizemore is the fullback. Reidinger now goes in motion. The tailback is Minnick, and Minnick will get the call. Minnick will get hit right at the line of scrimmage, maybe gets 2 yards, and that's it. Coming up to make the hit for Wilson, number 12, Andrew Borky, outside linebacker, making the hit. So Wilson defense gave up a couple of big plays quickly, but they have shut it down from that point forward. 2-yard pickup for Minnick. They'll bring up 3rd down and about 8 now. We'll call it the 27-yard line for Township. Pagan now will come out split right. And Reidinger is lined up to the left. Derek Newpower slot left. Sizemore, the fullback, the lone back in the backfield. He stays in the block, and they're going to need him as they dump it off short. And the pass is caught, breaking a couple tackles. McDonald, the tight end, makes the catch and gets to about the 20 to 30-yard line before he's wrapped up. And that's the blitzing defense of Wilson that forced him to dump it off short. So the pass complete to about the 30-yard line, pickup of 3. So Bostic gets the completion, Matt, but not enough to pick up the 1st down. Just kind of dumping it off to a safety valve and his tight end, Matt McDonald.
Yeah, I thought that was a great play call by Coach Melnick. Tight end McDonald just couldn't get past that first line of defense. If he breaks out one tackle, he does get the 1st down.
So on 4th down, the punter is Pat Bostic. And the return man is also Alex Fegley, who had that long kick return for the Bulldogs. A short punt that takes a Township bounce inside the 45-yard line and will stop at the 40-yard line. So Wilson will get good field position, not as good as the last time down, where they started at the Township 21-yard line, but it is 1st and 10 for Wilson at their own 40-yard line. So the quarterback remains Huber, Steve Huber, 1 for 1 with a touchdown pass of 21 yards to Josh Smith. We'll take a look at the rest of the starters on offense for Wilson after this play. They will line up in an I formation, and the backfield combination is the Stopper brothers. Dylan, the sophomore, is the fullback, number 40, and Jake, the junior, is the tailback. And Huber loses a snap. The other element of the wet conditions is that snap from center with the quarterback exchange, and Huber lost it on that snap. And let's take a look now offensively for the Bulldogs. Up front, the outstanding offensive line. The center is Clint Surgener. The guards, Andrew Hettinger and George Reinhardt. The tackles, Dan Ulrich and Jim Miller. The tight end, 6'6", 230-pound senior Josh Alger. The wideouts are Chris Hartzell and Josh Smith. And as you mentioned, the tailback is Jake Stopper. The fullback is Dylan Stopper. Eric Weimer, the quarterback, along with Steve Huber. Steve Huber has gotten the first two series so far. The Bulldogs on 2nd down and 10 from their own 40-yard line after the fumbled snap from Huber. Huber wants to throw, and he's looking for Smith. Smith one-on-one down the sideline, cannot come down with the catch. Coverage downfield by Manheim Township, one-on-one with Dan Kaufman. And Kaufman at 6 foot tall, the cornerback, going up, Matt, against the 6'4" Josh Smith. And Wilson trying to take advantage of the athleticism of Josh Smith. Let's take a quick look at Township's defense. Up front, 3 down linemen in Colin Henney, Mike Gillespie, and Robert Delaroso. Josh Whitmer, the outside backer, will also really line up as a defensive end. And then the other 4 backers are Justin McCarthy, Matt McDonald, Nick Sizemore, and Doug Minnick. The cornerbacks, John Dubois and the aforementioned Dan Kaufman, and the free safety is Jay Reidinger. 3rd down and 10 now coming up for the Bulldogs. From their own 40-yard line, Huber again wants to throw the football. He's going to look for Jake Stopper, and Stopper can't come up with the play, a little bit too wide, and Stopper couldn't make the one-handed catch, and it'll bring up 4th and 10 for the Bulldogs. And Matt, your thoughts on what Wilson's now trying to do offensively?
Offensively, Wilson's got a good game plan. We'll see if Manheim Township decides to keep playing this man-to-man coverage. You could see in that last series, Josh Smith, again, had a great opportunity to make a big play, and just ended up slipping through his hands, going out of bounds. But again, they're going to the playmaker versus man-to-man coverage.
Jay Reidinger will drop back to await the punt from Andrew Borky. Ball will hit at about the 30-yard line. Takes a Bulldog bounce inside the 20 and will finally come to a stop at about the 16-yard line. So a good punt in some sloppy conditions by Borky. And Manheim Township will be backed up. 6 minutes, 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wilson 7, Manheim Township 3. The Streaks got the football to start the game, came down, worked the ball down the field, got a field goal. Wilson with a great kick return following that field goal. Got themselves in great position, and on one play, Josh Smith put it in the end zone on a 21-yard hookup from Steve Huber, and that's where we stand at 7-3. And now Manheim Township looking for something happening here on their 3rd offensive series. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Again, with the I formation behind quarterback Pat Bostic. Now he's got his 2 receivers split out to the right side, but they'll go to the ground game with Minnick. And really nothing happening right now on the ground for Manheim Township. The Bulldog defense is just kind of stuffing the gaps. So Minnick is stood up at the line of scrimmage, maybe gets a yard on the play, bring up 2nd down and 19 at the 17-yard line. And talking with Mike Melnick a little bit about the game plan for Wilson defensively. We'll talk about that a little bit more after this play as Manheim Township was quickly back up to the line of scrimmage. And Bostic wants to throw the football. He hits the quick hitter, but it will fall incomplete as his intended target was Reidinger, and Reidinger couldn't come up with it, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 9. But Mike Melnick telling us before the game, Matt, that what Wilson's defensive line does is just kind of occupy the blockers, and that just kind of turns those linebackers loose, and they fill the gap very well, and they've really stopped things cold after that first series.
Yeah, the defensive line for Wilson's front four is doing a great job freeing up the linebackers to make the plays. Right now, they're shutting down Manheim's run game.
3rd down and 9, and Bostic's immediately in trouble. Josh Smith comes through on a safety blitz and is going to pin him back inside the 5-yard line, back at the 4-yard line. Bostic never had a chance as Josh Smith on this free safety blitz came through and timed it perfectly. Bostic turned, got the snap, and was immediately backpedaling after Smith came through on the blitz and dropped him back inside the 5-yard line at the 4. So on 4th down and about 17, here you go, Matt. Here comes the blitz, and Josh Smith comes in, and Bostic never saw him coming. Again, Wilson utilizing the athleticism of Josh Smith as Bostic now will punt the football from in his own end zone, and Wilson's going to get great field position again as the Bulldogs will get it at about their own, at the Township 32, 33-yard line. So we talked about the blitzing linebackers for Wilson, but this time it's the free safety blitz that catches Township off guard.
Coach Downs throwing in a wrinkle. Josh Smith, definitely a great athlete. Pat Bostic had nowhere to go.
And really, that's the timing issue, really. Smith did a great job of timing that snap count, and he was in the backfield in a hurry. So Wilson now has it 1st and 10 at the Township 33-yard line. 2nd time that Wilson has started in Manheim Township territory. Huber again stays in at quarterback. Dylan Stopper goes in motion. The give is a play action fake, however, and they're looking for the tight end Alger. Alger was open but couldn't hold on to the football. Safe call that time for Wilson offensively, but Alger could not hold on, and Matty had room to run if he holds on to that football.
He did it. Man-to-man again, and I don't know if it was a busting coverage or whatnot, but he was wide open, and he had the whole sidelines to the end zone free to him.
Second down and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Manheim Township 33-yard line. Smith split out to the left. Hartzell split out to the right. And to give this time instead is to Jake Stopper. Stopper with room to run around the right side, and he will take it inside the 25-yard line. Looks to pick up first down yardage. Needed to get to the 23-yard line. It looks as if he will pick up enough. He'll pick up 11 yards. It'll be first and 10 for the Bulldogs at about the 22-yard line. So Jake Stopper getting his first opportunity to run with a little daylight in front of him, and he turns it into an 11-yard gain. Huber quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Again, in the I formation. And again, it's Stopper who gets the call. Stopper will pick up a yard, 2, 3, and still bowling forward. Nick Sizemore will wrap him up and drag him to the ground at about the 18-yard line. Pickup of about 4 for Jake Stopper. Second down and 6 now coming up for the Bulldogs. Here we go again. Here's the play. You'll see Sizemore come up and finally wrap him up. Stopper shoots the gap, and here comes Sizemore wrapping him up after a 4-yard pickup. Second down and 6 for Wilson. Huber this time with a quick drop. Again, looking for Smith in the corner of the end zone. Jump ball, double coverage that time. And Smith not able to hold on to the football. And Matt, as you said, Manheim Township is going to have to do something to change the coverage on Josh Smith. And they bring the free safety, Jay Ridinger, over to help out.
They did. I don't know if that was a cover 2 look there or whatnot, but the safety did come over the top. And again, it was a fade to the corner of the end zone. And the safety got over there in time to break up the throw. Good play by the secondary Manheim Township.
Hoffman at 6 foot tall. Ridinger coming over to help out at 5'8". Again, going up against Josh Smith. So now on third down and 6 for the Bulldogs. This time they're going to run the football, and Manheim Township gets in the backfield, led by Sizemore first. And they wrap up Stopper in the backfield. Sizemore and Roberto De La Rosa get in the backfield, and they wrap up Stopper back close to the 33-yard line. Back to about the 32 is where they're going to mark it. Good penetration up front by the Blue Streaks.
Yeah, Manheim Township just about clobbered the running back almost before he got the handoff from the quarterback.
So they will back him up. The line of scrimmage, let me correct myself, it's back to the 22-yard line. I said the 32, it's the 22-yard line. So we'll call it about 4th and 9 coming up now for Wilson at the Manheim Township 22-yard line. The Bulldogs will stay on offense. Play action fake. Huber wants to throw it. Looking for his tight end, or perhaps it's Josh Smith. Kind of threw it in between the two of them. Smith was there, went off his hand. Josh Alger also was in the formation, but it's an incomplete pass, and Manheim Township dodges the bullet, and they will take over on downs.
Tough throw there by Huber, throwing cross body. It was a little bit behind Josh Smith, and he tried to make a one-handed catch behind him, but next time I'm sure Huber will try to, put that out in front, let Josh go out and get it.
So now the Blue Streaks will take over, 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. So Manheim Township's defense registers its first big stand of the night. And now they'll go back to the running game with Minnick. Minnick will get a couple yards before he's tripped up. Borky trips him up at about the 25-yard line.
New little wrinkle there from Coach running the speed option down the line with Pat Bostic there.
Here you'll see Bostic making the toss. Minnick will get tripped up. Borky with the tackle at about the 25-yard line. Pick up a 3 to bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Blue Streaks. And Matt Minnick on the season closing in on 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns to go along with it. So he is a weapon in this offense, and he'll get the call again on the toss sweep. Trying to get a block, has to break 2 tackles, and still in the backfield, and is finally going to get run out of bounds by Josh Smith and company before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Also in on the tackle, it was Colton Weaver, the outstanding sophomore linebacker, but great penetration that time by the Wilson front 4 and those linebackers.
Great pursuit by the ball. Great pursuit to the ball there by the Wilson defense. I mean, if he breaks a tackle there, he still has nowhere to go because 8 or 9 hats are there to the ball.
And they drop him back to about the 20-yard line, a loss of 5 on the play for Minnick. So it'll bring up 3rd down and about 12 now for the Blue Streaks at their own 20-yard line. Again, running out of that I formation, the tight end McDonald lined up to the left, and now Curcio goes in motion. Matt Curcio, and that's the direction that Bostic's looking for. He goes to his tight end McDonald, and a go to open field tackle. Josh Smith making plays on both sides of the field, and a great open field tackle by Josh Smith back and around the line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line. So they dump it off short, Matt, to the tight end McDonald, and Josh Smith comes up from his free safety spot and drops him on the spot. Give
Wilson's deep secondary credit there. They had the middle receiver and deep receiver covered, and Pat Bostic took what they gave to him, took the short to intermediate route, and Wilson came up and made the tackle.
There you'll see
4th down.
Bostic will make the throw, and Smith makes the great open field tackle. So 4th down and about 12 coming up, and Bostic is going to have to punt the football again into a wind, and kind of holds it up a little bit. It will reach Wilson territory before it finally comes to a stop at about the 48, 49-yard line. So Wilson again will get great field position. Four possessions for Wilson. And they have started twice in Manheim Township territory, once at their own 40, and now this time they will start 1st and 10 from about their own 48-yard line with about 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Manheim Township 3, Wilson 7. Lancaster Levin League Section 1, first place on the line tonight. Both teams at 5-0 in the section coming in with 1 game remaining after tonight's contest. Huber stays in there at the quarterback spot, and he's going to give it to Jake Stopper. Stopper will get to the 50-yard line, and Nick Sizemore, the sophomore linebacker, comes up and makes a big stick. Sizemore may be a sophomore, but he's a load at 215 pounds.
Yeah, he definitely came up and made the tackle there. He came up and let Stopper know what a tackle feels like.
Jake Stopper and Dylan Stopper, part of a legacy with that name in Berks County. The name Stopper has been a big part of Berks County High School football for a long time, and Jake gets the call on this play. Their father, Mike, was an outstanding running back at Central Catholic, on to play at Duke. Their grandfather, Andy, was an outstanding coach at Reading High, was Lenny Moore's coach at Reading High School. Their cousin Luke was an outstanding player and went on to play at Villanova. And now it's Smith who's going to get the call on a reverse, and Smith is in trouble, and Manheim Township's defense is starting to register now as they get through and wrap up Josh Smith in the backfield. Dan Kaufman coming up and making the hit for the Blue Streaks, along with Doug Minnick, on what will be the final play of the first quarter. And after 1 quarter of play here at Wilson, the score, the Bulldogs 7, Manheim Township 3. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. You're watching the high school football game of the week on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Back at Wilson High School, West Lawn, the site of tonight's high school football game of the week. Alongside Matt Lytle, my name is Bob McCool, ready to start the second quarter. Wilson with possession and a 7-3 lead. And Steve Huber wants to throw for more for the Bulldogs, but they cannot make the play work as Jake Stopper cannot hold on. And the Bulldogs will have to punt the football. Tonight, we mentioned the fact this is John Gursky Stadium, and there is the monument and a tribute to the man that made Wilson High School a football winner consistently. The Wilson this year is now won 31 consecutive winning seasons, and it all started with that man, John Gursky, who was the head coach here for a long time before turning the reins over to Jerry Slemmer, eventually to Jim Catafio, and now to Doug Doms. 31 consecutive winning seasons for the Bulldogs. That is the 3rd longest streak in the state of Pennsylvania. And a great kick this time for the Bulldogs, and Manheim Township's got problems in the backfield. Reidinger fumbled the football, and Wilson, I believe, has come up with it. The Bulldogs are celebrating as if they have. No indication as of yet from the officials, and it looks like it is Wilson football. No, did Reidinger get it back? I believe Reidinger may have got it back. He did. But they are in some serious trouble to start things. So Jay Reidinger had trouble with the football. Let's see if we can watch what happens, Matt. He had it, ran with it, and it got punched out. And it looked like it was Derek Funk, number 86, that knocked it loose. And Reidinger, to his credit, somehow or another at the bottom of that pile, gets the football back.
He sure did. He didn't quite have it tucked away when tackle was being made, and it just goes to show you when you have When you don't have the ball tucked away, you're gonna put the ball on the ground.
So the Streaks will get the football, or keep the football, 1st and 10 from their own 2-yard line. And they will keep the ball on the ground. And no matter what kind of a good offense you have right now, wet field conditions, down by 4 points on the scoreboard, and you're at your own 2-yard line. This is some dangerous territory right now for Manheim Township. 2nd down and 10 after the no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 from your own 2. Again, Sizemore is the fullback, Minnick is the tailback. In the I formation, Bostic does want to throw the football. And the football is incomplete, appears, looking for Pagan.
I think it was complete. Throws a quick out, maybe gain of 2 or 3 yards.
He did make the catch. I apologize to Nate Pagan. It is a complete pass for a couple, out to about maybe the 5-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 7 for the Blue Streaks at their own 5-yard line. Manheim Township right now just hoping to try to pick up some 1st down and try to reverse the field position right now. In the meantime, the Bulldog defense is licking their chops. Here they come. Good job of picking up the blitz, and Bostic's pass over the head and incomplete, and it will bring up 4th down.
It looked like on that play they were running 2 go routes. Double go on the outside. He was going to his receiver down on the right-hand side, and as Bostic dropped back to throw, set the pass, and got hit as he was releasing the ball and fell quite shy of the receiver.
Pat Bostic, coming into this game tonight, has completed 130 passes, as we said, in 197 attempts. And his 2 wideouts, Jay Ridinger and Nate Pagan, have combined for over 100 of those 130 catches. So when Pat Bostic is looking for a receiver, generally, as Matt was referring to, he's looking for those 2 wideouts. Now tonight he has found his tight end a couple of times in Matt McDonald. Bostic will punt the football, and Fegley will field it at about his own 40-yard line. Looks for some daylight, not much there. He'll get to about the 35-yard line, and that's it. But once again, sounding like a broken record, Wilson will get great field position. Let me correct myself. The punter that time was not Bostic, but it was Dan Wirtz, number 33, the sophomore, punting the football. So the Bulldogs will get good field position, 1st and 10 at the Township 35-yard line. 3rd time that Wilson has started in Manheim Township territory in this football game, and we're 10 minutes and 32 seconds before halftime. Steve Huber stays in there at quarterback. We have yet to see Eric Weimer. Hartzell split to the right, Smith to the left, and it's Jake Stopper who gets the call. Stopper will pick up a couple before he's wrapped up by Whitmer. Josh Whitmer, the outside linebacker, wraps him up at about the 30-yard line, pick up of about 5 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Wilson is definitely winning field position game right now.
They have started at the Township 21, their own 40, the Township 33, their own 48, and the Township now 35-yard line with this series. So it has definitely been to their advantage. To see if they can take advantage of it now. They only lead at 7-3. Stopper gets the call. Stopper breaks tackles, will pick up the 1st down as he's knocked inside the 25-yard line and down close to the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Wilson.
That was 2 back-to-back off-tackle runs by Stopper. Good hard-nosed running, and that time he broke it for a good run.
Down to the 21-yard line before he's finally brought up. A pickup of about 9 on the play for Jake Stopper. Clock now inside of 10 minutes remaining in the first half. 1st and 10 for Wilson at the Manheim Township 21-yard line. This is vintage Wilson football right now as Stopper gets the call, and Stopper will pick up maybe a yard, and that's it. De La Rosa, the first one there to make the hit for Manheim Township, had some help from Dan Wirtz. And now if you're Wilson, Matt, you start thinking about eating time off the clock with this ground game, and you keep Pat Bostic and Manheim Township with a deficit on the scoreboard, keep them off the field. 2nd down and 9 for Wilson at the Manheim Township 20-yard line. Again, they'll give it to Stopper. Stopper's hit. Almost took the handoff away from Jake Stopper. It's De La Rosa, number 74, who came through and made Jake Stopper pay dearly for that.
That was a great job there by Jake Stopper holding on to the ball. He just got that ball as the defender got there.
It was nearly a handoff to the defensive tackle. Here, let's watch it all unfold right now. De La Rosa, number 74, comes right through, and a blown assignment clearly up the line of scrimmage for Wilson. And a bear hug by De La Rosa to wrap up Stopper back at the 5-yard line. A loss of 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 14. Huber this time will give it on a play action fake. He's going to throw, swing it outside. Pass is incomplete. Looking for his tight end Alger, falls incomplete, and it's going to bring up 4th down. So again, despite starting with great field position, Wilson not able to pick up the key first downs, keep the drive alive, and now facing a very interesting call at 4th and 14 for the Manheim Township 25-yard line. Punt doesn't do you a whole lot of good. Pretty much out of field goal range for Eversgerd, so they're going to leave the offense out on the field and go for it on 4th and 14 inside the Manheim Township 25-yard line. Huber wants to throw, and he's looking for the corner, and the pass is caught by Hartzell, I believe, inside the 5 and fumbles into the end zone for the touchdown. Chris Hartzell made the catch. No, let me correct myself. It's 14 Matt McMillan who made the catch, not Hartzell, number 10. So they put McMillan in there at the wide receiver spot on a one-on-one coverage on the outside, and he beats the corner for the 25-yard touchdown pass.
Great read by Steve Huber there. You had double coverage down here on the weak side to Josh Smith and one-on-one coverage up top. He chose a one-on-one coverage and threw a nice fade to the front corner of the end zone. Great throw and catch by Steve Huber.
So the Bulldogs now extend their lead as Eversgood's extra point is up and good with 8 minutes and 12 seconds remaining now in the first half. The score, Wilson 14, Manheim Township 3, as Matt McMillan, 5'11", 160-pound senior, makes the catch from 25 yards out and a touchdown.
That was a great route by McMillan, too, leaving the quarterback some room to throw it over his outside shoulder and make a great catch.
So Steve Huber now with a couple of touchdown passes in this game, one to Josh Smith and now one to Matt McMillan. Huber had just 5 touchdown passes coming into the game on the season, and he's now got 7 with the 2 tonight. Again, Weimer and Huber have split time over the course of this season. It's been all Steve Huber tonight, and he's got 2 touchdowns on the scoreboard, and the Bulldogs with a 14-3 lead. And Manheim Township needing to try to figure out something to get themselves going once they get the football back. You're playing Russian roulette with this Wilson offense. You keep giving the football to them in your own territory. Manheim Township's defense has done a pretty good job, but sooner or later you're going to get some trouble, and they've taken advantage of a couple of them. Short yardage situations, a quarterback's dream.
Quarterbacks can smell it when you get into the other team's territory. It's a much better feeling when you're inside their 40 rather than being inside your own 40.
So Eversgood has it teed up, and Dan Kaufman and Jay Ridinger will await the opportunity to return it. Ridinger number 1 and Kaufman number 11. Actually, it's Ridinger who will take the catch at about the 20-yard line. Room to run. Ridinger with a big gap across the middle, and look out.
He's going.
It's a foot race to the corner at the 40, to the 30. One man to beat to the 15, 10, 5, and
touchdown.
Wrapped up, and is he into the end zone? No indication yet. The officials slow to get back as to whether or not Ridinger got into the end zone. They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. Jay Ridinger from the 20 to the 1 and takes it to the 1-yard line, but there is a penalty flag all the way back at the Township 23-yard line.
Bring it back.
And the officials are going to call it back. So Jay Ridinger with a 79-yard kick return. And it looks as if it's all going to get wiped out. Manheim Township, that had been forced into fending against great field position, finally had themselves in great field position, but it's going to get wiped out by a penalty, it appears. We'll get the call from our officials.
Blocking it back on a white team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Our officials for tonight's game, the referee just gave you the call, is Jerry Gerhardt. The umpire is Bob Kerr. Head linesman is Paul Fickus. Line judge is Doug Treader. And the back judge is Lou Maiero. And so Manheim Township, instead of having it 1st and goal to go from the 1, is going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. So it might be a 10-yard penalty but in reality, it's an 89-yard penalty in terms of field position. First penalty of the football game, and it's a costly one for the Blue Streaks. Pagan will come out split to the left. Ridinger split to the right. And they're going to go a little flea flicker back to Bostic. Bostic trying to buy himself some time right now and looking for Ridinger to come back and make the play, and Ridinger can't come up with it. Pass is incomplete.
Pat Bostic getting some pressure there. He's rolling out to his right, and he sees the pressure, and he asks Pagan to come on back, and just out of his reach through his fingertips. It would have been a nice throw and catch. Nice rollout there by Pat Bostic on the run, getting rid of the ball and trying to make something happen.
So instead, it's 2nd down and 10 for the Streaks. Bostic, who had a 66% completion rate coming into tonight's game, has found it going a little bit rougher tonight against Wilson. He's in trouble right now, scrambling for his life back inside his own end zone. Dumps it off short, a big stick coming up by Chris Hartzell. The pass is caught by Pagan, but he paid dearly for it at about the 15-yard line as Chris Hartzell came up from his defensive back spot and laid him out after about a 5-yard pickup. So Pagan does get the catch, good for a 5-yard hookup from Pat Bostic. 3rd down and about 5 coming up for the Blue Streaks at the 15-yard line. There's a good look at Chris Hartzell, junior defensive back for Wilson. Bostic under center on 3rd down and 5, and here comes the blitz. He slips as he's stumbling backwards. Now he's in trouble. Still in trouble, and finally is going to go down. Dodged a couple of tackles, but eventually he runs out of time, and Andrew Borky will wrap him up back inside the 10-yard line, about the 6-yard line.
There's a situation, Pat Bostic trying to make a play, scrambling around and whatnot, but in that situation there, he needs to just throw the ball away and punt the ball. Try another time. So
instead of picking up any kind of real estate, instead the Blue Streaks will have to punt the football. Bostic is back to punt. And Begley will set up the return. And again, Manheim Township will punt from their own end zone. It'll become a big part of this football game so far. Bostic just gets it off, takes a Manheim Township bounce out across the 45-yard line before it trickles out of bounds. 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Wilson 14, Manheim Township 3. And again, Wilson will start in Manheim Township territory at about the 46, maybe the 47-yard line.
Steve Huber's got to be enjoying this field position. Wilson's been inside Manheim Township ball. Manheim Township's inside their 40 numerous times. Just on their 46-yard line.
46, we'll call it. And Huber is still in there at the quarterback spot. He's under center right now. And the give is to Jake Stopper. Stopper with a hole. Stopper breaking a couple of tackles. He'll take it inside the 40 to about the 35-yard line. Pickup of about 12 on the play. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Nice inside dive there. Quick hitter. Jake Stopper made a nice run there. Nice cut back to gain extra yards. Good run by Stopper.
Stopper with 730 yards on the season coming into the night. And he picks up 12 on that play. 1st and 10 for Wilson. Football wiped clean and dropped at about the 35-yard line. Inside of 6 minutes remaining now. Manheim Township has burned one of their 3 timeouts so far in this half. They'll go back to Stopper. Stopper breaks one tackle, still on his feet, still rumbling forward. And Jake Stopper finally all wrapped up inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. In on the tackle and going for a little bit of a ride was number 30, Doug Minnick, junior linebacker.
Wilson offense now starting to wear down Manheim's defense. They've been on the field quite a bit and been on the field in their territory as well.
Pickup of about 8 on the play for Stopper to about the 27-yard line. Bring up 2nd down and 2. Clock continues to run as Matt said, this is what Wilson likes to do. They have the offensive line and the experience up front and a ground game that can control the clock and keep an offense explosive that Manheim Township is. You keep them off the field and they can't score points. This time it's Dylan Stopper, the fullback with a big hole, and Dylan Stopper just lowers his shoulder inside the 20, down to about the 17-yard line.
Wilson's offensive line's definitely starting to wear down on Township's defensive line especially. Holes are starting to get broken open.
Here you'll see the big hole for Dylan Stopper, the fullback, and then just as a fullback likes to do, just lowers his shoulder and takes Jay Ridinger with him. Dylan Stopper at 5'10" and 215 pounds. And it looks like Andrew Borky is in there at the tailback spot, and Borky will get the call.
Mark Little.
Excuse me, it's Mark Little, the second back, if you will. Mark Little, the junior tailback. And Little will get the call inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. Pickup of about 4 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6 for Wilson. The clock continues to run. Inside of 4:25 now left first half. Jake Stopper checks back in at the tailback spot. Alger, the tight end, lined up to the right. It's Dylan Stopper, the fullback, who gets the call. Stopper will take it inside the 10 to about the 9. Pickup of about 4 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and short for Wilson.
Quick dive option there by Huber. Hands off to Dylan Stopper. And Huber follows out the fake, and as well as Jake Stopper. So he's got the brothers in the backfield.
And they are a load to bring down so far tonight for Manheim Township. They're going to mark him down at the 10, so we'll call it about 3rd and 2.5, maybe 3 for Wilson to pick up the first down. It's Jake this time who gets the call, and De La Rosa is going to wrap him up. Roberto De La Rosa, number 74 for Manheim Township, done a good job tonight at the line of scrimmage for the Blue Streaks, and he got in the backfield again in a hurry and bear hugs Jake Stopper to the ground back at about the 11-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down again for Wilson.
Great job there by De La Rosa, just busting through the line and got to the running back in the backfield and made a nice tackle. He's definitely been all over the ball so far tonight.
So Wilson finds themselves in a somewhat similar situation as last time. On 4th down, they'll leave the offense out on the field. 4th down and about 3 from the 10-yard line. And a whistle before the snap. Penalty flags on the field. This is against Bulldogs. We'll see if this changes the strategy
Dead ball foul.
for Wilson.
False start on the offense. Repeat 4th down.
Well, there's your call. It is a procedure penalty against the Bulldogs. Back them up 5. Now you're looking at 4th and about 8 from the 15-yard line. So they had it 4th and 14 from the 25 and got a 25-yard touchdown pass from Huber to Matt McMillan. So now they'll try it 4th and 8 from the Manheim Township 15-yard line. Huber this time wants to throw, and he's crushed.
De La Rosa all over him there.
It is Roberto De La Rosa who hits Huber before he knew what hit him. So Manheim Township says, Wilson, you can blitz, and we can get some penetration on the quarterback as well. And Huber never had a chance on 4th and 8. So Roberto De La Rosa making the plays right now for Manheim Township's defense. Right now the Blue Streaks need to find somebody to make some plays on offense.
Big play there by De La Rosa, getting their defense off the field and saving a touchdown there. I think that was another fade to the back corner of the end zone. Now we Pat Bostic and the offense back on the field and see what they can do.
From the 21-yard line, they're going to go to the ground game, and Sizemore, their big fullback, breaking tackles. Sizemore out across the 40-yard line, and suddenly Manheim Township says we can play a little power football as well. And Sizemore alone breaking tackles and rips off about a 20-yard gain.
Definitely some hard-nosed football. He just ran somebody over.
Nick Sizemore looks like a fullback, especially with mud all over his uniform now. He looks like a fullback. 6'1", 215-pound sophomore, and inside linebacker as well. And he picks up about 21 yards on the play. 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks at their own 42-yard line. They'll go back to Minnick this time, and Minnick just not finding any room at all. Matt Minnick got a big hole on his first carry in the first series for Manheim Township, and ever since then, he has run into a sea of red at the middle of the line of scrimmage from Wilson. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 for the Blue Streaks at, we'll call it the 41-yard line of Manheim Township. Inside of 2 minutes now remaining in the first half. Wilson with a 14-3 lead. Manheim Township has 2 timeouts remaining should they choose to use them. They'll go to Sizemore, the fullback. Sizemore just plowing forward. Gets to about the 45-yard line before his forward progress is stopped. Pickup of about 3 on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Streaks. Interesting call coming up from Mike Melnick. What do? You're down by 11, inside of a minute and a half left. 3rd down and about 7 from your own 45-yard line.
One thing's nice, Manheim definitely got it out of their territory now, and they're actually going to, if they go to punt here, they're going to actually pin Wilson deep back in their territory, and we'll have a little change of field position here, but we'll see if we can get a first down here by Manheim.
Ridinger split right, Pagan split left. And they'll go to Minnick, and Minnick loses his footing, and as he wanted to cut it outside, waiting there to try to make the tackle was Jason Spittler for the Bulldogs, and Minnick lost the footing, wanted to go up the middle, wanted to cut it outside, and when he did, he slipped down and falls at the 45-yard line. And now a timeout will be called on the field. 52 seconds remaining. The Bulldogs will call the timeout. They will get the football back, you would presume. 4th and 7 for Manheim Township at their own 45-yard line. So we talked about this, Matt, when we first started the game, that Manheim Township has had a lot of troubles in the first half, but they've been highly successful in the second half. And you got to think that Mike Melnick just decided, you know what, let's just get out of here, as you said, change field position a little bit, and let's take our chances in the second half. We've been better there anyhow.
Yeah, they definitely have put some points up in the second half, and look forward to seeing them put some points on the board, making this a closer game in the second half, and hopefully it'll be a good one. Right now, we're definitely seeing a change of field position, and they're probably going to punt here, and they're going to put Wilson deep back in their territory. So with 52 seconds left, it'll be interesting.
It'll be a change of pace for Manheim Township, not the punt from their own end zone. They've done that what seems to be time and time again. And you see the conditions only getting worse as this night goes on. The rain started about an hour or so before game time, and it's been a slow, steady drizzle all night tonight, and the field conditions getting wet and sloppy and muddy. Bostic, the quarterback, will punt the football, and it will take a Township bounce inside the 30 and bounce out of bounds close to the 25-yard line. And Wilson will take over 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Wilson. You've got about 73 yards of real estate in front of you. You've got 46 seconds left on the clock. And by my record, I think the Bulldogs still have 2 timeouts remaining. Let's see how they choose to play it. Huber, we will presume, is going to stay in there at the quarterback spot. It is Steve Huber. Matt McMillan will split out to the left. Josh Smith split to the right. The Stopper brothers in the I formation. Alger, the tight end, lined up right. It's Jake Stopper who gets the call. Stopper will get a couple as he'll go across the 30, bounce forward to about the 33-yard line. So it appears as if Wilson will say, we're pretty content with this. Nope, there is a stop, and the Bulldogs, I believe, are going to call a timeout. They do. So Wilson will stop the clock with 33 seconds remaining. Jake Stopper picks up about 6, maybe 7 yards on 1st down to about the 33-yard line. 2nd down and about 4 coming up for Wilson at the 34-yard line. And the Bulldogs will call the timeout. They still have 1 left. See if Steve Huber tries to air it out. Maybe look for Josh Smith and see if Josh Smith can break a tackle and make a big play. Officials doing their best to try to keep this football as dry as possible. A losing battle on a night like tonight. There you get a good look at the rain coming down. Crowd surviving the elements in tonight's game conditions. It's a night for the Mudders. So here we go. 2nd down, and we'll call it 3 for Wilson. 2 receivers lined up to the near side. Begley joins Smith on the right side, and now Hartzell goes in motion. They're going to toss it to Hartzell. Hartzell on the sweep and a good open field tackle. I believe it's Pagan who comes up and makes the tackle on Hartzell, shy of the 40-yard line. Did he get out of bounds? He did not, apparently, and the Bulldogs are going to be forced to burn their timeout. They had 1 timeout left, and a great job by Pagan to not only make the open field tackle, but also keep him from going out of bounds. So Wilson is forced to burn their last timeout with 20 seconds remaining. So they get what is close to 1st down territory. They had to get to the 37-yard line to pick up the 1st down. Officials have not signaled that it's a 1st down. Now they do. So the Bulldogs do get the 1st down. It will be 1st and 10 for Wilson from their own 37-yard line.
20 seconds left here, I look to see the ball going in the hands of Josh Smith somehow.
Whether you try to go deep, whether you try to get maybe a little hitch pass and make him break a tackle on the wet field. So Wilson now out of timeouts and 20 seconds remaining in the first half clock. Bulldogs on top 14-3.
Got to put the ball in the hands of your playmakers, right?
Wait and see how they choose to play it. Andrew Borky now checks into the game. He's split out left along with Hartzell. And it's Mike Schifalakwa and Smith to the right. And they're going, after all that, they're going to keep it on the ground to the fullback. Dylan Stopper will get the call, and Stopper will get to about the 40-yard line, and we will presume that that will be the final play of the first half. We invite you to stick around here at halftime. Maybe not. Wilson going to quickly come to the line of scrimmage, and they're going to try to see if they can get a play off. The officials didn't spot the football in time, and that will indeed be the final play of the first half. I invite you to stick around. As I said, we're going to talk a little bit about the football teams in District 3 and in Berks and Lancaster counties that are making a run. We'll do so with Mike Drago of the Reading Eagle and Keith Schweigert of the Lancaster New Era when we come back to Wilson High School. At the break, the Bulldogs 14 and Manheim Township 3. I know what it's like. Not my raincoat, I don't have a raincoat. Welcome back, Wilson and Manheim Township. We are at halftime. My name is Bob McCool. The Bulldogs on top of Manheim Township by a score of 14-3, and I'm joined by a couple of guys who cover high school football in this area as well as anybody. To my right, Mike Drago from the Reading Eagle, and to my left, from the Lancaster New Era, is Keith Schweigert, and we're going to talk a little bit about the teams in Berks and Lancaster County who might be in position to make a little bit of a postseason run. We're only about 2 weeks out. Actually, we are 2 weeks out from the postseason. And Mike, we'll start with you with a home field advantage tonight here at Wilson. And this Bulldog team that coming into the season, everybody thought it was going to be back to the old days, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But this defense, it's more like 3 plays and a punt.
And no dust tonight, Bob. I haven't seen anybody kick up any dust, but the defense definitely has been the star of this team, and people were expecting, I think, more from the offense. We haven't seen that yet, but the defense is good enough for them to make a run in districts.
Well, Keith, we'll turn back to you and Manheim Township, and obviously everybody knows about Pat Bostic, but does this Blue Streak team, they got in the district playoffs last year, they got upset in the first round by State College, are there enough weapons around Pat Bostic that they can make a postseason run?
Well, that's the question, and you see tonight, we haven't really seen the full Manheim Township offense because they've been backed up so much tonight. Bostic, the perception is that Township's weapons aren't as strong around Bostic this year. I would dispute that. I think Rittinger and Pagan, the 2 wide receivers, are certainly adequate there. Mike Minnick hasn't found a lot of room tonight against this good Bulldog defense, but he is certainly a viable option for them in the game. I think they do have enough weapons to make a run. As you said, last year they did make districts. They lost in the first round. I'm not sure how deep they can go. It depends on what seeding they get and what matchup they're looking at. I'm not sure it'd be a deep run, but I definitely think they can do some damage there.
Well, both of these teams have 1 loss, and it's the same team. The Governor Mifflin Mustangs have snuck up on a few people. They certainly did it to Mifflin, or to Wilson. They did it to Manheim Township the first 2 weeks of the season, and they're in great position right now. They could have home field advantage all the way up until the district final.
That's true. I don't expect Mifflin to lose again. You know, they could finish 9-1. Wilson could sneak into that number 2 spot also because Mifflin's playing a double-A team tonight, so Wilson could gain a few points on them. Either of those teams, you know, could be number 2 or number 3, and they could meet up again in the semifinals. I know a lot of people from Wilson would love to see that.
It would be a very interesting matchup. Now let's drop down a classification, guys, and talk about AAA. And Keith, if you're going to talk about AAA, it starts and it usually ends with Manheim Central. And lo and behold, the Barons are primed and ready to go for another postseason run.
Yes, Manheim Central is the king of District 3 AAA football. That's the case again this year. The perception is that they're maybe not as strong as some of the great teams that they've had in the past, but they're 8-0. They look like they're primed and ready for another deep run. And when you look around the district, with the exception of Daniel Boone and maybe 1 or 2 other teams, there doesn't seem to be a powerhouse squad out there that could really throw a challenge at them, except maybe in the finals if they would run into Daniel Boone down the line.
Well, he just stole my lead, Mike, in your paper. It's all about right now. The Cinderella story in District 3 is right here in Berks County. Daniel Boone lost, 7,000 yards, 7,000 career yards, and Nate Roming and Chris Bukowski, and lo and behold, they're 8-0.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I mean, they had a lot of good players surrounding those two guys last year. I don't think people fully appreciated that. Now they do, because those sophomores and juniors are now seniors and juniors. They're the stars of that team. It's a very solid team, not a whole lot of holes. They play great defense. They've got their own budding offensive stars. They're going to be a team that's going to make a run in districts, although Manheim is still the favorite. I mean, I've heard before that this is not the strongest Manheim team, and then they win the district title by 40 points. So until somebody beats them, they're still the kingpin.
They still are the kings of Hershey, whether it be in a district or whether it be in a state final in many cases as well. All right, now we go down one more classification, and these two areas both have big-time teams as well. The returning champion from the AA bracket, Keith, is Lancaster Catholic, and they're sitting in prime position again. They too are 8-0, and they might be stronger than they were a year ago.
Yes, if you're looking for a Lancaster Lebanon League team to maybe be the last team standing, I'd say Lancaster Catholic has a great chance to be that team. They have just about everybody back from last year. They are even better this year, I think, on offense. Their defense has always been strong. They just have a lot of weapons, and I think it's going to be very hard for a team in the district and maybe even in the eastern half of the state to really stop them from making a deep run.
Well, Berks County's version at the AA level, Michael, Missing Spartans last year got squeezed out of the district playoffs. No question about it this year. They're already clinched a spot, and I'm sure they would love a chance to see if they can get a chance to see Lancaster Catholic down the road.
And I think they're going to get that. I mean, I wrote back in August that Wyo was going to be 13-0 and play Lancaster Catholic in the championship game, and the Crusaders are going to be unbeaten too. I think that's a game everybody's going to look forward to. I don't know if this Wyomissing team is as strong as last year's. That might have been a better game, but we'll see, because the Spartans they have a lot of weapons and they'll be ready.
Let's just put a big old bow around this and tell you that Lancaster Catholic's head coach, Bruce Harbach, played and coached right here at Wilson, and my colleague in the booth, Matt Lytle, played his high school football at Wyomissing. It's a great thing about high school football in Pennsylvania. You're always in somebody's neighborhood, and right now we are in Wilson's neighborhood, and the Bulldogs are on top at the break, 14-3. My thanks to Mike Drago and Keith Schweigert. If you're interested in following what's going on in high school football, these guys do a great job. Mike from the Reading Eagle and Keith Schweigert from the Lancaster New Era. We'll take a break. We'll come back with a second half kickoff right after this on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. PCN is the only statewide network bringing you the sights and sounds of high school football. For a complete schedule of upcoming games, visit the network's website at www.pcntv.com. PCN putting this game out around the state of Pennsylvania in over 3.3 million homes. You're watching high school football on the place eventually to be the home of the championships as well. Hershey Park Stadium is the site. In mid-December, we will be there to bring you all the sights and sounds of the state championships of high school football here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Alongside Matt Lytle, my name is Bob McCool. Wilson and Manheim Township is the matchup. A pair of 7-1 teams going into tonight's game, and Manheim Township right now behind the Bulldogs by a score of 14-3. And for Wilson, it has been a battle of field position, and the Bulldogs have certainly won that. They have started in Manheim Township territory time and time again, and eventually it got them a lead. It got them an early lead on a touchdown pass from Steve Huber to Josh Smith, and then eventually the touchdown that made it a 14-3 lead. It was another touchdown pass from Huber, this time to Matt McMillan, and we'll see if we can show you this play coming up right now. And here you go, Matt. And what's Huber going through right now? He's got McMillan on his left and Smith on his right.
Well, here's where, if I remember back, you had double coverage to the left to Josh Smith and single coverage here to the left on McMillan. And I'll tell you what, Huber makes a great throw, quick three-step drop, and gets the ball up where only McMillan can make the play on his outside shoulder. McMillan does make a great play and takes it in for a touchdown.
And what made it as much as anything was what Josh Smith was doing earlier in this football game. First series, for Wilson. They get the ball in his hands. He makes a 21-yard touchdown pass. Almost came up with another big pass as well. And I think that in and of itself forced Manheim Township to get that double coverage on Josh Smith, and it's going to open up the opportunity for somebody on the other side of the field. And in this case, it was McMillan who got the single coverage, and the Bulldogs seeing that, taking advantage of it, and getting the extra touchdown. So
I think you're right. Coach Melnick made change after that first touchdown catch by Josh Smith, knowing that Josh Smith is their playmaker, and they went to double coverage there down in the red zone on Josh Smith, and it opened up Matt McMillan one-on-one to the outside, and it was a great throw and catch by Huber and McMillan.
Pat Bostic has had some troubles tonight throwing the football. Obviously, the conditions being what they are has been a part of that, and as well as Wilson's defense. And Pat Bostic is on the verge of climbing up the charts, literally, in the all-time leading yardage in Pennsylvania high school football for quarterbacks. Right now, coming into tonight's game, he was 7th with 6,645 yards. The all-time leader is Pat Devlin from Downingtown East, who's now at Penn State. And Pat Bostic has a significant opportunity to get as far, perhaps, as number 2, if, in fact, Manheim Township can go on any kind of a postseason run. He needed 96 coming into tonight to get to Adam DeMichael, who's number 6. And the target in front of him, in a lot of people's minds, is number 4, former Wilson quarterback Chad Henne, who, of course, is now at Michigan. And Chad Henne's all-time record for District 3, as well as the Lancaster 11 League, is 7,071. So Pat Bostic needs, coming into tonight's game, 427 yards passing to pass Chad Henne, become 4th all-time, and the all-time leader not only in the league, but in District 3 as well. It's a big target to shoot for, but Matt, with at least 3 games left, including tonight, he knows he's going to have at least one postseason game. And the way Pat Bostic throws the football in this offense for Manheim Township, you got to think, if you're Bostic, that goal is certainly out there to attain and pass Chad Henne.
I think it's very doable. The big number that stood out to me with Pat Bostic was, if you look for 2006, his completion percentage is at 66%. Overall, I think Chad Henne's his highest in the 3 or 4 years he was at Wilson was 64%. So completion percentage is huge. Pat Bostic had coming in 1,592 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he's on his way to a great season, and I think it's very attainable for him to get to Chad Henne's mark of 7,071 yards. Evan Crackey from Lakeland with 7,447 will be a stretch.
There you go. There's the numbers. As Pat Devlin, the all-time leader with 8,162 yards. As Matt said, Evan Crockett from Lakeland is going to be tough. He's going to need almost almost about 800 yards to get that far down the road. It's going to take a long stretch. But some great quarterbacks out there. Of course, former Berwick standout Ron Paulus. Chad Henne stands at number 4 with 7,071. That might be the most attainable goal. And Brett Gordon at LaSalle and Adam DeMichael, who's currently the starting quarterback at Temple, is 6th, and the next one up the line for Pat Bostic to try to pass his way up the charts in high school football in Pennsylvania.
Great quarterback there at number 1, Pat Devlin. A lot of people around here glad to see that he went to Penn State. I got the pleasure to work with Pat and actually Chad, both at All East quarterback camp over at the Body Zone. And both those guys, both Chad and Pat, great athletes, good quarterbacks. Probably going to see some big things. We already seen big things out of Chad Henne from Wilson and up at Michigan. But Pat Devlin, I think, here in the future is going to show some big things up at Penn State.
Well, there certainly has been some great quarterbacks that have come out of this Lancaster Lebanon League over the course of the last few years. Frank Reich really started it from Cedar Crest. Frank Reich, a longtime quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, Kerry Collins right here at Wilson took the Bulldogs to the 1989 state championship game, only to come up short against Upper St. Clair. Jeff Smoker from Manheim Central went on to Michigan State. Brandon Kirsch from Cedar Crest, who went on to play at Purdue. Perry Patterson, who right now, former McCaskey standout, who's quarterbacking at Syracuse. And, of course, Chad Henne, as Matt said, right now having an outstanding career in his junior year at Michigan. So Pat Bostic might be the next in line. He has already given his verbal commitment to go play at the University of Pittsburgh. And I was kidding with my partner, the former Pitt quarterback and a left-hander. And the current quarterback at Pitt is Tyler Palco. And the guy who split the time between Matt Lytle and Tyler Palco is Rod Rutherford, all of whom were lefties. So they might have to reverse the playbook and get you lefties straightened out and go to a right-handed quarterback with Pat Bostic.
They'll definitely have to change their plan of attack and go to a right-hand style of West Coast offense. But I think Pat is definitely going to be happy going to the University of Pittsburgh. He made a great choice. Good university, both academically and athletically. And when I was recruited back for Pitt, Matt Cavanaugh was the guy who recruited me, and he was the reason I chose Pitt. And I think Pat Bostic has a great quarterback coach as well as offense coordinator in Matt Cavanaugh. As you know, Matt Cavanaugh played in the NFL for, I think it was 13 years at quarterback. He wasn't a starter, but he was a consistent backup with the Eagles, the Patriots, 49ers. I don't know, I think there's 4 or 5 teams he played, the Giants. But between Cavanaugh and Wannstedt, I think Pat Bostic's going to be pretty excited playing for the University of Pittsburgh.
Certainly Dave Wannstedt has made an impact. This is his second year as the head coach at the University of Pittsburgh, and he has made an impact in recruiting around the state of Pennsylvania. Had a great recruiting class coming in this year as freshmen, and has a number of players who have given their verbal agreement as well for the 2007 graduating class. Back to tonight's action, Wilson with the football to start the second half with a 14-3 lead. And again, this game will pretty well determine the Section 1 championship of the Lancaster 11 League with 1 game remaining. Wilson will go on the road to take on Reading. And Manheim Township also will finish up their season next week on the road against Penn Manor. So the loser of tonight's game still could get a share of the title, but the winner certainly in the driver's seat going into next week, the final week of the regular season. Low line drive kick that is bobbled by the Bulldogs and eventually picked up. Breaking some tackles is Fegley, and Fegley with his second big return of the night takes it out across the 35-yard line, out close to the 40-yard line. So Alex Fegley, whose kickoff return started things for Wilson, got them to the 21-yard line that eventually led to the Bulldog first touchdown with another good return. And Wilson will again start with good field position as they have all night. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 40-yard line.
That's been the name of this game so far, is field position. Wilson has definitely had some great field position, and here again to start the second half, they're opening up on their own 40.
And they'll start with Hubert quarterback, and they'll go back to the ground game as Jake Stopper will get the call. Stopper just trying to bull his way forward, gets a couple, maybe to 3, maybe 4 yards on the play, out to about the 43-yard line. A pickup of about 3, we'll call it 2nd down and 7 for the Bulldogs. You would think that Wilson, with the conditions being what they are and the lead, would play it somewhat close to the vest in the second half. We'll wait and see if that's the case or not. They've got a very experienced offensive line. If I'm not mistaken, 4 of the 5 up front are all returning starters from a year ago, and Stopper gets the call again. Stopper with a big gap and eventually gets it into Manheim Township territory across the 50-yard line down to about the 48-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up for Wilson.
Got to give the credit there to Wilson offensive line. I'll tell you, it was man-to-man. Wilson had 2 guys outside, 2 receivers up top, and Manheim was going man-to-man, so they had 2 guys. It looked like cover 0 there, and 9 guys were in the box, and Stopper made a great run. He had 9 guys in the box and still had over a 10-yard gain.
Bulldogs, again, packing it up at the line of scrimmage, and a penalty flag comes down before the snap of the football. And it looks like it will be against Wilson. Second penalty of...
False start, 5-yard penalty, retreat first down.
It is 5 yards against the Bulldogs. Second penalty of the game against Wilson. Backs them up 5 yards. And back into their own territory at about their own 48-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 15 now coming up for Wilson at the 47-yard line. It'll be back to Jake Stopper. Stopper going to have to try to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe gets to the 50, and that's about it. Manheim Township has been equal to the task at the line of scrimmage. A great job of stuffing the run. That time was number 61, Mike Gillespie, the nose guard, junior, stopping Stopper right at about the 50-yard line. Pickup will give him 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 12 coming up for Wilson. Opening series of the second half. Bulldogs on top 14-3. Huber wants to throw for it this time. He's got an open receiver, and the pass is caught by Smith, I believe. Smith will make the catch inside the 45-yard line, down to about the 42-yard line before Smith is finally wrapped up and brought down. Doug Minnick on the tackle for the Blue Streaks.
Great throw there by Steve Huber. That was a rolling out, little waggle to his left, and cross-body throw. He put it right on the money to Josh Smith, and gain of about 5 or 6 yards. Great throw.
Bring up third down and about 6 coming up for Wilson. Again, the I formation behind Huber. And the ball comes loose.
Fumble.
It's on the ground, and finally Wilson will fall on the football. I believe it's Huber who falls on it, and that thing just squirted right through. It looked like the snap came before Huber was expecting it and was on the ground for a while before finally Wilson falls on it back at around midfield.
The conditions now have definitely changed. The field is wet, soaked, and ball's going to be tough to handle. That's going to be a big key in the second half. Who can turnovers, who can keep hold of the ball and prevent turnovers.
So Wilson now will have to punt the football as eventually Huber falls on the bottom of the pile. Dave Reidinger will drop back to return the punt from Andrew Borky. Good punt from Borky. Reidinger calls for the fair catch and will field it about his own 20-yard line. The Manheim Township has not gotten into Wilson territory a whole lot tonight. They will start from about their own 20-yard line. To the best of my memory, I think they only got into Bulldog territory on their opening drive, where they took it down the first couple plays, and before you knew what hit them, the Bulldogs had backpedaled back to about their own 11-yard line. Manheim Township eventually had to settle for a field goal, but from that point forward, after those first couple of plays, Blue Streak offense has just not been able to find anything of any significance. So Bostic at quarterback. We'll try it start in the second half, and he's going to throw right away. Throws a little slant pass, and the pass is caught by Pagan. Numbers are getting harder and harder to read. It's Pagan who makes the catch across the 30-yard line. Looks to be a first down for the Blue Streaks.
That was vintage West Coast offense there. That was, I think that was what we had called the X slant backside. It's pretty much isolate the X on the weak side, and front side is a bunch look. And it was a nice throw by Bostic. Put it right on the money. It was close to pass interference there. Defensive back hit Pagan right as he caught the ball. Great throw and catch.
And first and 10 for Manheim Township at their own 31-yard line. Bostic again wants to throw. Got time to throw this time. He's going to dump it out short, and paying the price for the hit is Matt Curcio making the catch. And I believe it was Josh Smith coming up to make the hit. Jeff Deck was there barreling in as well, but it's Smith who makes the big hit on defense again for the Bulldogs. Back inside the 30, back to about the 28-yard line. I lost like about 3.
That looked like the same play there, that same X slant, and Bostic didn't have the slant. And he came backside for his fourth outlet receiver and threw the flat route. And Josh Smith came up and leveled him.
Josh Smith has made an impact in this game on both sides of the football field. There's no question about it, offensively and defensively. Bostic this time looked like they wanted to run an option, and Wilson was in the backfield and broke it up. Wilson was in the option lane before Bostic knew what to do.
Bulldogs is in the backfield.
Football now back inside the 30, back close to about the 27-yard line. Going to bring up third down.
Brings up a third
and about 13, maybe 14 coming up for Manheim Township.
Wilson's defensive pursuit to the ball has definitely impressed me tonight.
There you go. Bostic wanted to pitch the football, but there were red jerseys surrounding him in a hurry. Great job by Wilson penetrating up front. So on third and about 13, maybe 14 coming up for Manheim Township. Bostic, of course, wants to throw for it. He's got time to throw. He's got an open receiver, but he can't hook up with him. It's his tight end, McDonald, who had a step on the defense.
For Matt McDonald.
But the pass will fall incomplete and will bring up fourth down. So Bostic had time, and he had an open receiver, but he could not hook up with his tight end, Matt McDonald.
That looked like one of those that just got away from Pat. He put the ball up, put a little bit of air on it. I don't know if the wind got it or what, but that was just out of the reach of McDonald diving for the ball.
Bostic will have to go back and punt again. Begley will drop back to return. Clock now stopped with 6:19 remaining in the third quarter. Long snap count for Township, and eventually Bostic kind of sidesteps a little bit to get the punt off. And it continues to bounce in Manheim Township's direction inside the 30, down close to the 25-yard line. Good kick by Bostic, and Wilson will take over 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. So a rare commodity in this game that Wilson does not start with good field position. This clearly is their worst of the night. Prior to this, they had not started any worse than from their own 40. This time they'll start from their own 27-yard line with 6:08 left, third quarter of play. Change in numbers for the Bulldogs. Wearing number 29 now is Mike Schifalakwa. He is in there as a wide receiver. He was wearing 2 in the first half. The Bulldogs have changed jerseys to put some clean ones on out there. Stopper and Stopper are the backfield. Dylan the fullback, Jake is the tailback. And again, in the backfield, before they know what hits them, is Nick Sizemore this time. It was De La Rosa before, but this time it's Nick Sizemore coming through. And again, before Wilson can get the handoff, Nick Sizemore is making the play.
Sizemore was definitely all over that run. He split the A gap and got in there quick right as the ball was handed off and put a nice punishing hit on the running back.
Got to be impressed with Manheim Township's defense tonight. We knew coming into this game how tough Wilson's defense was. A defense that has pitched a number of shutouts in this game.
To wear proper equipment, no mouthpiece, 5-yard penalty.
Here's the replay again, and it looked like Sizemore wasn't quite sure whether to hit the quarterback or the running back there. He got there right at the time the ball was handed off. I'll tell you what, between Sizemore and De La Rosa, these two are definitely leading Manheim's defense, both having great games.
Bulldogs actually got called for a penalty on the play for an illegal use of equipment. Someone did not have their mouthpiece in. So it's now 1st and 15. They'll take the penalty instead of the play. It'll be 1st and 15 back at the 22-yard line. Huber wants to throw for it. He's looking across the middle to Josh Smith. It's too tall and incomplete. Right there in coverage was Dan Kaufman.
Is incomplete.
So it'll bring up 2nd down at 15. Again, just trying to get the ball in the hands of Josh Smith and get him across the middle. But Kaufman, to his credit, was right there with him, stride for stride.
Good coverage. Ball was just a little bit out of reach.
It'll bring up 2nd down at 15 now for the Bulldogs from their own 22-yard line. Incomplete pass will stop the clock now with 5:59 left, third period of play. Huber comes to the sideline to get the play. You're going to start worrying about play clock right now. Took them a long time to get that play in, and they better get to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. 2nd and 15 coming up for the Bulldogs. Smith lined up wing right. And they faked the handoff to him, and a whistle and a snap, and I think that's going to be a delay game. Back him up 5 more. Again, Huber was on the sideline for a long time waiting for that play to come in.
Foul, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty.
So the Bulldogs right now going in the wrong direction. They're back now to their own 17-yard line. 2nd down and a 20 coming up for Wilson. Well, Matt talked so much about field position at the end of that first half. And obviously, field position favored Wilson in the first half. But right now, if Manheim Township can come up with a stop here, the Blue Streaks may get good field position for the first time. Huber will hand it off. Stopper wants to kick it outside. Stopper's not going to get a whole lot of daylight as they'll wrestle him to the ground at about the 20-yard line. Sizemore again in on the tackle for Manheim Township along with Doug Minnick. Stopper tried to cut it outside. Picked up a couple to the 20, and that's it. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 17. Instincts of a running back are to kick it outside when there's nothing there, but when the footing underneath you is solid mud, it's a little bit different. Smith lined up slot right now with quarterback Huber, but they're going to run it to the left, and Huber's going to get buried in the backfield. Doug Minnick this time in on a blitz, and Doug Minnick coming from his blind side will sack Steve Huber back at about the 13-yard line.
Great back-to-back plays by Doug Minnick. It's Manheim Township's defense picking it up. Manheim Township will definitely get great field position here, and hopefully Pat Bostic and the offense can capitalize.
We'll wait and see as Borky will come on to punt the football. Reidinger is the return man, and he's set up inside the 40-yard line. So it should be good field position for the Blue Streaks. We'll wait and see. Snap. It goes right through the hands of Borky, and it's going to be a safety coming up as Borky falls on the football. So Andrew Borky could not hold on to the snap and smartly fell on the football, and it will be a safety for Manheim Township.
Taking our score, the Bulldogs 14, the Blue Streaks 5.
Oh, you take into consideration the field position, and Manheim Township comes up with the play, at least a little bit of a play to help get them back into the game on a safety.
Here you can see on the replay, it was a low snap, just right off the fingertips of Borky, and with this wet weather, ball slipped and ends up in a safety.
Nick Sizemore falls on top of Borky in the end zone. And again, credit Borky with saving a touchdown, really, because the smart play there is to fall on the football and give up the 2 points, but don't give up the 6 points. If Manheim Township falls on the football, it's a touchdown for the Blue Streaks, and it's a completely different game. As it is now, it's Manheim Township behind by 9, Wilson 14, the Blue Streaks 5. And now Manheim Township will get the football back after Wilson kicks.
Fall on it or kick it out of the end zone, one of the two, right?
And you knew sooner or later, I mean, Manheim Township had kicked from their own end zone I don't know how many times in the first half. Sooner or later on a night like this with these field conditions, it's going to happen. It's sooner or later it's going to happen, whether it be a bad snap, a fumbled snap, something's going to happen where you're going to get pinned in your own end zone. And it did not happen to Manheim Township, but it did happen to Wilson. And so it's now a 14-5 score in favor of the Bulldogs, and Wilson will kick it. You have your choice after the safety, whether you want to punt or whether you want to kick it off. And Eversgood has it teed up.
Well, we talked about Manheim Township scoring big in the third quarter. Well, they got two for the positive already.
Coming into this game, they scored 3 points in the season in the first quarter. They scored 111 in the third quarter. And Ridinger will field it about his own 42 to the 45, and that's as far as he's going to go, maybe to the 47-yard line, as Jay Ridinger breaks a couple of tackles. The Bulldog faithful in front of us wanted a clipping penalty, nothing called. And Manheim Township, when's the last time we said this? We'll start with good field position. This time at about their own 46, maybe 47-yard line. So the defense for the Blue Streaks making something happen here in the third quarter. We'll see if the Bulldog defense can counter. Bostic not facing a whole lot of pressure in the last series. We'll see if Wilson changes that now, and here they come. Bostic has time, however, and the pass is tipped and intercepted. The Bulldogs have picked it off. Coming up with the interception, I believe, was Mark Little. Mark Little caught the tip pass, and the interception, just the third of the season against Bostic, is going to give the Bulldogs the football and in Manheim Township territory.
Another situation where weather conditions definitely can hurt you. Here was a great pass by Pat. Great pass here by Pat Bostic, right in and out of the hands of, who was it, number
Ridinger.
one?
It was Ridinger, receiver.
Right in and out of the hands of his receiver, and great hands by number 22 to make the interception.
So Mark Little,
good catch.
Gets the pick, and the Bulldogs have the football. So that quickly, we talked about Manheim Township finally getting good field position, and the Bulldogs have turned it into field position of their own. 1st and 10 for Wilson at their own 37-yard line. Huber again in at quarterback, and he's going to get picked off. Throwing it across the middle and intercepting the football.
That's number 30, Doug Minnick.
Doug Minnick, who has had the big plays in this second half. And Minnick, I believe, comes up with the pick.
By Doug Minnick.
Hard to see there it is, Doug Minnick. Good call, partner. Matt Lytle right on it. It was Doug Minnick, number 30. There is a 3 and a 0 underneath all that mud, trust me. And here's the pass from Huber.
Huber got leveled as he let go of the ball there. I don't know if that affected the throw or whatnot, but it was a good interception by Doug Minnick there.
So it was turnover free for the first half of this football game, despite weather conditions, but that has changed drastically in the last 2 possessions. First play from scrimmage for Manheim Township is an interception by Mark Little, and now a first play from scrimmage for the Bulldogs is an interception by Manheim Township. And you see Steve Huber, the quarterback, as Matt Lytle told you, was leveled as he threw that football, and he's shaken up and slow to recover. Gets back up on his feet, and we'll have to wait and see on the next possession if Huber is able to get back in there or if we'll see Eric Weimer for the first time tonight.
Both Huber and Minnick were a little dinged during that play. Minnick on the return looked like he limped off the field a little gingerly, and Huber noticeably shaken up after that big hit.
The credit Doug Minnick. Doug Minnick is in there tonight in replacement of Mike Kirkner, who is normally their inside linebacker and a good one, but he is out with a deep thigh bruise, and Doug Minnick has had a big night tonight. 1st and 10 for the Blue Streaks at their own 38-yard line. And Manheim Township trying to keep it on the ground and make something happen as they go a little quick hitter to Ridinger. And Ridinger maybe gets a yard, maybe 2, and that's about it to the 40-yard line. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Streaks at the 40-yard line.
Little motion reverse there on that last play with Ridinger coming through in motion, quick handoff, and good pursuit by Wilson defense to slow it down.
Lancaster 11 League action for you tonight here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. The Manheim Township Blue Streaks making their home in Neffsville, Pennsylvania, in Lancaster County. Wilson along with Reading High, 2 teams from Berks County who play football in the Lancaster 11 League. We are in West Lawn in the western suburbs of Berks County, and the Bulldogs now trying to bring down, and as breaking tackles, I believe it's Minnick. Matt Minnick. Actually, it's Sizemore, the fullback. Again, numbers are getting tough to see now, and it was Sizemore, the fullback, breaking tackles into Wilson territory, and finally brought down inside the 35-yard line, down to about the 32-yard line before he's finally brought down.
Reverse handoff there, a little spin reverse handoff by Pat Bostic there, and looked like Sizemore got lost in the shuffle. Defense didn't know who had the ball for a minute, and he was 5-10 yards downfield already before took note, and good run there by Sizemore.
Down to about the 32-yard line. Pickup of 28 on the play. Here we'll see, there it is. There's the fullback, Sizemore. Stacked up, just keeps on driving. 1st and 10, and now Bostic's in some trouble. Buys himself some time, gets hit as he throws the football. Pagan is intended target, and let's wait and see. Bostic is slow to get up.
Incomplete.
Bostic is a big one back there at 6'4", 220 pounds, and now a penalty flag was just dropped.
Flag on the play.
That's got to be, you got to assume that's a late hit. Penalty flag just went in after Pat Bostic got up. Let's wait and see what the penalty is all about. Jerry Gerhardt with our call.
We have a hold on a white team, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Okay, it's a hold against Manheim Township, so the Blue Streaks, who got it to the 32, will now back up to the 42-yard line. So it does wipe the incompletion off the books, and it makes it a 1st and 20 now from the 42-yard line. Actually, no, they're going to back to 10 yards from the spot. Is going to be putting back close to midfield. Back to the 49-yard line. So it's now going to be 1st down and about 23 coming up for Township. Still in Wilson territory at the Bulldog 49-yard line. Bostic under center. We have not seen Pat Bostic in the shotgun at all tonight, and I got to assume that's weather conditions. Manheim Township, not liking what they see, is going to call a timeout with 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Wilson 14, Manheim Township 5. If you're a high school football fan, you're going to love PCN. Coming up in December, PCN will air all 4 PIAA championship games live from Hershey Park Stadium. When you are looking for high school sports, turn to PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. And we invite you to tune in as well if you're watching this game tonight live across the state of Pennsylvania. Tomorrow night you can see a tape-delayed broadcast beginning at 9 o'clock. A battle of unbeaten teams, Montoursville and Selinsgrove going head-to-head with one another. Montoursville is ranked number 8 in Class AA. Selinsgrove ranked number 4 in AAA. That game will come to you at 9 o'clock, and then a replay of this game between Wilson and Manheim Township to follow next week in the final game of the regular season. Also in Lancaster 11 League Section 2, another big rivalry between Conestoga Valley and Manheim Central will be the game live next Friday. And then the tape-delayed game Saturday night will be Hazleton against Berwick. So that'll be the final 2 games of the regular season next weekend. And again, heading into the middle of December, live from Hershey Park Stadium. All 4 games of the state championships right here on PCN. 1st down and 23 coming up for the Blue Streaks. Ridinger goes in motion, stops, and goes back in motion, and a penalty flag comes down before the snap of the football. Get the call from Jerry Gerhardt.
False start on the white team. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So it's a penalty against Manheim Township. Back them up another 5 yards. It'll be first down and 28 now coming up, and they're back into Wilson territory at the Bulldog 44-yard line. So they finally got it into Wilson territory down to the 32-yard line. A holding penalty and a procedure penalty have backed them up. Bostic wants to throw for it, and he throws behind Ridinger and incomplete. Mark Little there on the coverage for Wilson.
Falls incomplete.
Second down and 28 now for Manheim Township. And Matt, we really haven't seen a whole lot of those little quick slant patterns coming up from either Ridinger or Pagan so far in this game for the Blue Strings.
No, I don't know if it's the weather or what, but that was that last play there was a quick 5-yard out, and Pat seemed to rush it there and quick 3-step drop and threw it right to receiver's feet. I think weather is definitely a factor here.
Pagan split left, Ridinger split right. Sizemore goes in motion, and Bostic wants to throw left, nothing there. Now going to roll out to his right, and he's going to dump it off short. Ridinger will make the catch. No, he doesn't. Going to rule it incomplete. He was close to being out of bounds when he made the catch. Incomplete pass is going to bring up third down, 28 coming up for Manheim Township, back at the 44-yard line.
Third and 32.
That's not the situation you want to find yourself in against this Bulldog defense. Wilson with a couple of people late getting onto the field, and it might cost them. Oh, the Bulldogs are going to call timeout to prevent any kind of a procedure penalty or an illegal substitution penalty. Manheim Township was coming to the line of scrimmage, and the Bulldogs were bringing 2 guys late onto the field defensively. Third down and 32 is the call coming up for Manheim Township. They have got to get to the Bulldog 23-yard line to pick up the first down. If you're Pat Bostic, you can't be thinking about the home run ball. Number one, you're probably not going to have enough time. And number two, field conditions-wise, it's going to be tough for your receivers to get that far downfield with these conditions. You got to be thinking about picking up pieces instead of the whole thing.
Yeah, field positions played a huge part in this game, so it'd be good for them to pick up, 10 yards here and get a good punt off and try to pin Wilson deep back in their territory.
It worked the last time. At least they got a safety out of it, and that's how we got the score that you see on your scoreboard, 14-5 in favor of Wilson. There's the conditions from the brave souls who have decided to come out here and watch football. It's been an entertaining football game. It's been a defensive struggle, which should not be a surprise when Wilson is involved. The Bulldogs have not given up a whole lot of points this season, and they've pitched 3 shutouts as well. 14-5 is our score. And again, the 5 points coming from a field goal early on and a safety on a fumbled snap in the end zone on a punt by the Bulldogs. Bostic wants to throw. Going to cut it off short. Pass is caught by Curcio. Curcio will pick up a couple to midfield and maybe into Wilson territory, and that's it. At Curcio, number 17 for Manheim Township. He's a sophomore tailback and defensive back, and he'll make the catch in Bulldog territory at about the 48-yard line. So they pick up about maybe 8 yards, and it's 4th and long coming up for Township. And Bostic will punt. Fegley, as you see on your screen, will come back to return the punt. Bulldogs coming after the kick, and Bostic is able to get it off. Hits at the 25 and takes a bounce inside the 15 and down to the 10-yard line. Great kick by Bostic, and a great job of getting the bounce. He got 15 yards on the roll, and just as Matt Lytle told you, it's a battle of field position right now, and the Bulldogs are backed up. 1st and 10 for Wilson from their own 10-yard line. So Eric Weimer will now get his first series at quarterback. Again, Steve Huber threw that interception on the last series and was injured on the play. Was under a heavy rush when he threw the pass and was slow to get up. Came off the field under his own power, but it's Eric Weimer, the senior, who will run the offense right now for the Bulldogs. Weimer, 5'10", 155-pound senior. Weimer under center with the I formation behind him. It's Dylan Stopper, the fullback, who gets the call. Stopper is hit immediately, slowed down, and then good pursuit by the defense for the Blue Streaks as Stopper will get, Dylan Stopper, I should say, will pick up about 3 yards and will bring up 2nd and 7. Safety net time, you would think, for Wilson. After a turnover on the interception and a turnover in essence on the fumbled punt snap, you got to think that Doug Doms is thinking about holding on to the football right now. A 2 tight end set in there right now for the Bulldogs. Here comes a toss to Jake Stopper. Gets a block from Dylan and taking it out across the 25-yard line. Gillespie there to make the tackle for Manheim Township at about the about the 18-yard line. Pickup of about 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Ball control offense. Make sure you just keep 2 hands on the ball. Right now is critical not to turn the ball over.
Bulldogs, I believe it's Mark Daniels, number 99, who's in there as the extra tight end along with Alger. It is Mark Daniels and Alger in there. Daniels lined up tight end left, Alger lined up tight end right. And it's Jake Stopper will get the call on 3rd and 2. Sizemore slowed him down. Gillespie finished him off, but not before Wilson will pick up a 1st down.
Jake Stopper ahead for a Bulldog 1st down.
It's the 2nd 1st down of this 2nd half for Wilson, but it's a big one for the Bulldogs. Out across the 20-yard line to about the 24. Pickup of about 6 on the play, and it'll bring up 1st and 10 for Wilson. Clock now inside of 30 seconds remaining, 3rd period of play. Here comes Jake Stopper again with a little bit of room. Spins away and is finally brought down at about the 30-yard line, very close to the 30. Actually, they're going to mark him down right on the 30. Pick up about 6 on the play, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 4 on what probably will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. The ball is spotted, the clock has started, and that indeed will be the end of period number 3. The Blue Streaks pick up a safety in the quarter, and that's it. And at the end of 3 quarters of play, the score, Wilson 14, Manheim Township 5. We'll take a break. We'll come back to Wilson High School with a final 12 minutes right after this.
When it came time to think about college for our son, we felt kind of torn.
We were excited for him, but it's a lot of money, and we didn't know where it would come from.
Then FIA came into the picture.
That's the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency. They have easy planning tools, free money.
Like grants and scholarships and low-cost student loans.
FIA helped make our dreams come true.
That's our son, the college graduate.
FIA, a constant and growing resource for Pennsylvania.
Tomorrow's college football stars are on the rise right here in Pennsylvania. Next week, Conestoga Valley at Manheim Central, featuring Conestoga Valley at Manheim Central, Friday night at 7:30. Also, Hazleton at Berwick, Saturday night at 9.
Back at John Gursky Stadium, Wilson and Manheim Township, Lancaster 11 League Section 1 matchup. Matt Lytle alongside me. My name is Bob McCool. You're watching High School Football Game of the Week on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Wilson will start with the football to start the 4th quarter. And the Bulldogs right now just trying to grind this thing out a little bit on 2nd down and 4. Jake Stopper will take it out across the 35-yard line to about the 36-yard line. And what will be another Bulldog 1st down. 1st and 10 for Wilson at the 36-yard line, eating up time and at the same time keeping the offense for Manheim Township off the field. Dylan Stopper is at fullback, Jake Stopper is at tailback. Eric Weimer is the quarterback. And it's Dylan Stopper who gets the call. Had a little trouble with the handoff as he maybe picks up a yard or 2 to the 38, maybe to the 39-yard line, and it'll bring up 2nd down and about 7 for Wilson.
Speaking of handoffs, you got Eric Weimer in there, and this was his first series or playing time, and I'll tell you what, he's done a heck of a job taking the ball from the center with this type of weather.
You've been standing on the sidelines for 3 quarters. Your hands are nothing but cold and wet. Jake Stopper will get the call, and Jake Stopper finds room to run, and he's going to be out very close to a first down, still pushing forward in second effort. May very well have gotten that first down across the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Great second effort there by Jake Stopper, getting those extra yards. Give credit to Wilson offensive line, really pushing and taking control of this game.
4th first down of the second half for the Bulldogs. 3 of them have come in this series. Again, they started from their own 10. They have it now, 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. The clock continues to tick as we now are inside of 10:45 left in the football game. And this time it's Dylan Stopper who gets the call, and the big fullback will rumble into Manheim Township territory down to about the Blue Streak 47-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on the play to bring up 2nd down and 4. Here you're going to see Dylan Stopper gets the call. Great surge up front. De La Rosa finally is able to wrestle him to the ground after a 6-yard pickup. Weimer again will give it to Dylan Stopper. Stopper breaking tackles. He's right to the line of the first down marker. And will he get his forward progress? Looks like he will get the first down. Another first down pickup for the Bulldogs.
For another Bulldog.
To the 42-yard line, a pickup of 5 more for Dylan Stopper.
Five hard yards for Dylan Stopper there, carrying defenders on his back. Great hard running by Dylan Stopper.
Well, we told you
first down.
This is the stadium that John Gursky built in a lot of ways, and this is John Gursky football. Running up the middle in mud. This is what made Wilson a team to reckon with in the Lancaster Lebanon League 30-odd years ago. And it's Jake Stopper who gets the call. Jake is going to cut it outside. He'll pick up a couple inside the 40 down to about the 38-yard line.
Nothing like playing a football game in the mud. High school kids love it.
You don't have to wash the uniforms. You don't mind?
No. Equipment manager.
Pickup of about 3, maybe 4 for Jake Stopper to about the 38-yard line.
That's what he gets paid the big bucks for.
Little Clorox never hurt anybody. 2nd down, we'll call it 6 for the Bulldogs at the Manheim Township 38-yard line. Again, Section 1 of the Lancaster Lebanon League very much on the line in this game. Here comes a toss to Jake Stopper. Stopper gets away from a couple tackles. He's inside the 30-yard line, down to the 25, and finally down to the 20-yard line. Great effort by Jake Stopper to just keep pumping the legs forward and pick up another Wilson first down.
Right there on that play, Manheim Township blitz. Sizemore came in the strong side. I think it was B or C gap, and Wilson ran the opposite direction and just ran for a big gain there.
Here we'll see
As you can see, the blitz, actually both De La Rosa and Sizemore had quite a bit of pressure on the right side, but Stopper off to the left with a great gain.
Jake Stopper picking up 18 yards on the play, and a good job by his offensive lineman to get behind him and just keep pushing him forward and get that surge going as finally Stopper's brought down at about the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Wilson. Manheim Township forced to burn a timeout. Maybe just give their defense a rest, but more importantly for the Blue Streak, something to think about. That is their 2nd timeout of 3 allotted in the second half. So if and when they get the football back, they're now down to just 1 timeout remaining, and they're trailing on the scoreboard 14-5.
That reminded me of Pittsburgh Steeler football last year. Jerome Bettis. Stopper carrying guys on his back, getting those extra yards. Great run by Jake Stopper.
The Bulldog student body is starting to come alive. Give him a free T-shirt and makes him come alive that much quicker. 1st and 10 for Wilson at the Manheim Township 20-yard line. Again, Dylan Stopper, the fullback. Jake Stopper, the tailback behind quarterback Weimer. Dylan, the fullback, gets the call. He'll get it inside the 20 and stacked up at about the 17-yard line. Pick up maybe 3 on the play to bring up 2nd and 7. Body's a little slow to get up right now. They might just be stuck in the mud. Dylan Stopper will get called, marked down. We'll call it the 17-yard line, so pick up of 3, 2nd down and 7. If you're Manheim Township defensively, you got to know what's coming. You're going to think that they run. Now, whether or not Wilson will try to change that at any point in time remains to be seen. Trey Cox is in there at the wide receiver spot, lined up to the right. It's Jake Stopper with a great hole, and it closes quickly. Good job by Manheim Township. Come from the outside and wrap him up and bring him down. I believe it was
De La Rosa
who wrapped him up. Jake Stopper to the 15-yard line. Pickup of 2. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Good open field tackle there by De La Rosa.
Looked like Stopper had room to run, but De La Rosa kind of came from nowhere, backside almost, to make that tackle. Roberto De La Rosa's had a big night. Number 74 in the middle of your screen has had a big night tonight for Manheim Township defensively. Big spot in the football game. 3rd and 5 for Wilson at the Township 15-yard line. It's Dylan who gets the call. The fullback still rumbling, still bowling forward, and Dylan Stopper inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal to go for the Bulldogs.
Great run by the fullback from Wilson. You could tell he was smelling the end zone. That second effort almost put him in the end zone. Great hard-nosed running by Dylan Stopper. Good effort.
They will mark his forward progress down at about the 2, maybe even to the 1-yard line. Here it is again. Surge up front, and Dylan Stopper did the rest. Look at that hole to run through. Second effort off the tackle from Sizemore, and now this is fullback territory. Give me the ball, give me some bodies hanging on me, give me some mud, and I'm a happy man.
Broke 4 or 5 tackles. I love it.
1st and goal is a 2. Here comes the toss sweep to Jake Stopper. Does he get the end zone? He does.
Touchdown.
2 yards out. Jake Stopper will take it home for the touchdown for the Bulldogs.
Vintage Wilson football. Running the ball.
And it's 6 more points on the scoreboard for Wilson. 6 minutes and 57 seconds now left in the contest. And Wilson adds another one on the books. And they do it all on the ground. And oh, by the way, they started at their own 10. Going to like a 90-yard drive, eating up some time. And Jake Stopper, with the good blocking out in front, takes it home for the touchdown. Colton Weaver in there as an extra blocker at the fullback spot, along with Dylan Stopper, to help get Jake Stopper into the end zone. Eversgood comes on to attempt the extra point. It is up, and it's good. 6:57 left in the contest. The score, Wilson 21 and Manheim Township 5. So Jake Stopper with the touchdown run, his first of the night and his 9th of the season. Again, Doug Doms, the coach for the Wilson Bulldogs, has been here since 1976. He was an assistant under John Gursky and under Jerry Slemmer and under Jim Contafio. Jim Contafio resigning the position at the end of this season before camp started. And Doug Doms, who is a longtime defensive coach, the defensive coordinator for 8 years under Jim Contafio, taking over the head coaching duties. And the presumption was it was going to be a little bit of a flashback to vintage Wilson football, as Matt Lytle just described it. And that series was all about what Wilson does best, especially in the 4th quarter. You get the offensive lineman driving forward, you get the fullback and you get the tailback involved. The 2 tight end set, it's a flashback to the old days, but in muddy, rainy conditions, it's a formula that has worked very, very well in West Lawn for a long, long time.
Great 90-yard drive. Sustaining the drive, not putting the ball on the ground, fumbling. Way to punch it in by Wilson, and now it puts the pressure on Coach Melnick to score quickly. It's a 16-point game here. Still a 2 touchdown, or you could go 2 touchdown and go for 2. So it's really a 2.
You're right. Still a 2-score game.
2-score game.
2-point conversions. You're right. Manheim Township still very much in this, but time not on their side with 6:57 left. By the way, that was a 15-play drive for the Bulldogs. Low line drive kick will be fielded. I believe it's Ridinger who will take it across the 20 to the 30 and still has his feet across the 35-yard line before he's finally wrapped up. It was indeed Jay Ridinger who was with the return. So Manheim Township and Pat Bostic, 1st and 10 at their own, looks like the 36-yard line. 6:51 left in the contest, 1 timeout in his pocket, and we'll see what miracles Pat Bostic can come up with. This is the kind of stuff that, from a quarterback position, legends are made if you can come from behind in these kind of situations. Brady Quinn did it last week for Notre Dame. We'll see. We'll see if Pat Bostic has any Brady Quinn in him. I formation. They fake the handoff. It's Ridinger, and now it's Ridinger on the reverse across the 40, and finally will be pushed out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Jay Ridinger on the reverse. Picks up about 7, maybe 8 yards.
Little change of direction play there. It was a nice fake double reverse. Thought he was going to hand the ball off there to Pagan, and kept it himself for a good gain of 7.
2nd down and 3 coming up for Township. And again, he was not out of bounds, so I correct myself. He was tackled inbounds, and the clock continues to run. Streaks back to the line of scrimmage quickly, and Bostic has some trouble with the football, and he's going to slip down. He was a play-action fake, I believe, to Matt Minnick, and Bostic lost the handle on the football, trying to get it back, lost his footing as well. And he is tackled back, well, actually just falls on it back at the 40-yard line, a loss of 3, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 6. So we'll see. Play-action fake, the football's loose, Bostic wants to go, and the ground says, take a seat.
Yeah, I don't know if that was play action or if that was a designed run, but either the running back or the quarterback was off page there.
So they will mark him down actually back at about the 39-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it a long 6 coming up for the Blue Streaks. They're going to keep it on the ground with a new ball carrier in there. It's Mike Kilpatrick in there for Manheim Township. And he'll take it across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Pickup of about 6 and pretty close to a 1st down.
Good extra effort by, was that Curcio?
That was Kilpatrick, number 35 in there at the tailback spot. Actually, it looked like he was lined up at the fullback spot. Kilpatrick gets the call, and looks like he picks up the 1st down. They do give him the spot, and it is a 1st down pickup for Manheim Township.
Yeah, it was a good run by Mike Kilpatrick. He was stood up there for a while, just kept chugging his feet, and falls forward for the 1st down.
Keeps Township with a pulse in this game. Bostic buying himself some time, looking for Curcio, but he's going to get dropped. Dropped in the backfield by Andrew Borky. Bostic bought himself some time. He was looking for Curcio in the middle of the field, but he ran out of time as Andrew Borky, the outside linebacker, drops him back at around the 40-yard line.
I think there was a situation where Pat Bostic was looking for Curcio to do so. It was, Josh Smith had him pretty well covered, and Curcio needed break one way or the other to give Pat Bostic. You could see here on the replay. Bostic looks to make something happen, scrambles around, looking for Curcio here, and just holds it a little too long, and Borky ends up making a tackle.
So it's the 6-yard loss on the sack back to the 40-yard line. 2nd down and 16 now coming up for Township. Ridinger again goes in motion. They fake the reverse to him. They're going to dump it off short, but nobody was looking for it. They wanted to dump it off on a screen pass. Kilpatrick was the closest one there. Curcio also was there, and it looked like it might have hit him in the back shoulder.
I think Curcio there on that got tied up in the offensive lineman, and it looks like it bounced off an offensive lineman's back.
Looks like he just
dangerous throw.
He got lost in traffic and couldn't get out. And it's an incomplete pass, and as Matt said, a fortunate break perhaps for Township. Let's see if we can see exactly who and what this pass hit. Bostic just says, I don't want this, dumps it off.
Pick off number 63.
It's one of his offensive linemen. It's like 69, Frank Rinaldi probably is the guard who hit him in the back shoulder. So it's an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up 3rd and 16. Bostic with a straight drop, this time has time. Now he's going to try to run for it, and nothing doing. Bostic had the pocket break down around him, and he goes down in the arms of Mark Daniels.
Great coverage outside by, I think that's Josh Burkhart by Wilson, all over Pagan. Pat Bostic was looking deep down the left side, and Burkhart had him blanketed.
So they lose another yard back to the 39-yard line, and they're losing valuable time on the play as well. The clock continues to run inside of 3.5 minutes as Bostic eventually is going to run out of time, thinks he wants to run with it, and Mark Daniels comes in, number 99, wraps him up and throws him to the ground at the 39-yard line. 4th down and 17, and it appears as if Manheim Township is going to line up and punt. But let's not forget that Bostic, the quarterback, is the punter. He does kick it. Low line drive kick, and we'll take another Township bounce inside the 30, down to about the 26-yard line. So Manheim Township hoping maybe their defense can make a play because their offense is struggling to move the football, and they punt the football back to the Bulldogs. 1st and 10 for Wilson, back at about the 26, maybe the 27-yard line.
2 minutes, 59 seconds left. It looks like Wilson's going to go back to their specialty. That's hard-nosed football, running the ball in this nice, muddy, wet weather. Just pound it up the middle and run the clock out.
Alger tight end right, Daniels tight end left. Dylan Stopper, the fullback, gets the call. Dylan Stopper breaking tackles, rumbling forward, picks up the first down across the 35 and will be stopped shy of the 40 at about the 38-yard line. 12-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for Wilson.
Great extra effort again by Dylan Stopper.
The second inning at St. Louis, the Cardinals.
Jake Stopper coming into the game had 730 yards rushing. Dylan had just 157, but Dylan has been big tonight. And he just breaks tackles, keeps moving forward, sometimes even running forward while he's running backwards at the same time. And the free safety Reidinger comes in and finally takes his legs out from under him at about the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 38-yard line. 2:25 now left in the football game. It's Dylan Stopper again who gets the call. This time he will be stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Number 60, Colin Henney, there to slow things down for Manheim Township as Stopper gets maybe to the 40, pickup of a yard, maybe 2 on the play. Call it 2nd and 2, or 2nd and 8 coming up at the 40 for the Bulldogs. Manheim Township still has 1 timeout remaining, but it looks as if the Blue Streaks are not going to burn that timeout. Clock continuing to run now to 1:55 and counting left in this football game.
Around the track, please do not enter the track or the playing.
Weimer will hand it off this time to Jake Stopper. Stopper will pick up a couple before he's wrapped up. Again, Henney there on the tackle for the Blue Streaks. Jake Stopper will take it to about the 42-yard line, pick up of 2 more on a play to bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, equipment manager's definitely going to have his hands full tomorrow.
You're really worried about that laundry bill, aren't you?
I tell you. The mud bowl.
They got a week to get them clean. Actually, they don't need them. They are on the road the next. Both teams are on the road next week. They're going to need new uniforms. They don't have to worry about it until maybe the playoffs. 3rd down and 6. Here comes that toss to Jake Stopper. Room to run. He's in Manheim Township territory. To the 40, to the 30, and finally brought down inside the 25-yard line. The toss sweep to Jake Stopper has the Bulldogs in Manheim Township territory down to about the 21-yard line.
Toss sweep to the left by Jake Stopper, and speed got him outside on the perimeter. Great run. This 59 seconds left. Looks like Wilson's going to just run the clock out and wrap this one up.
Well, it looks like the play is going to get wiped out on a penalty as Matt Wilson's starting to walk back to their own territory. So what was a 37-yard run for Jake Stopper is going to wiped out, it looks like, by a penalty.
During the run, pushing it back on the red team, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
So it is on the run, a illegal use of hands and block in the back, so it will wipe out the big 1st down for Wilson. It does not change the fact that a lot of time runs off the clock, and we are now down to 59 seconds remaining in the contest. So it looks as if the Wilson Bulldogs are going to be in the driver's seat in terms of the Lancaster-Lebanon League Section 1 title. Again, both of these teams with 7-1 records coming into this week number 9 have clinched District 3 playoff berths. District 3 expanding to 16 teams in both Quad A and Triple A, and to 8 teams in Double A and Single A. So both these 2 teams will make it into the district playoff spot, or playoff berth, but it will go a long way in determining who's playing whom down the road in a couple of weeks. Last week of the regular season coming up next Friday. Bulldogs, of course, will keep it on the ground, and a big hit coming up that time. I think it was Sizemore coming up to make the hit on Jake Stopper. What could be the final play of the football game unless Manheim Township burns the timeout. And it looks like the Blue Streaks will not do so. So Wilson doing what they do best in the second half. And again, what cinched the deal for the Bulldogs was a 15-play, 90-yard drive, ultimately leading to a 2-yard touchdown run for Jake Stopper. And it was Dylan Stopper up the middle. It was Jake Stopper off the right, Jake Stopper off the left. And that's what got them down the field and got the Bulldogs the touchdown that made this a 21-5 lead and ultimately the win for Wilson. So the Bulldogs will run their record now to 8-1 and 6-0 in Section 1 of the Lancaster 11 League. Manheim Township will fall to 7-2 and 5-1 in Section 1. The Bulldogs again will finish up next week at Shirk Stadium, the home of Albright College and also the home of their arch rival, the Reading High Red Knights. Manheim Township will go on the road as well to play Penn Manor. So Matt Lytle, you get a chance to see these two teams, and again, we did not get to see a whole lot of vintage Pat Bostic, unfortunately, because certainly the weather conditions had something to do with it, but let's not discount that completely. Wilson's defense had something to do with that as well.
Definitely tonight, Wilson's defense definitely impressed me. Their pursuit to the ball was incredible. You had 8-9 guys to the ball on every play. There was really nowhere to go for Manheim Township. And they put a lot of pressure on Bostic, and he probably got to his second or third possession only a handful of times. So it was tough going for Pat Bostic all night throwing the ball.
And there's no lonelier feeling for a quarterback. You want to get back out on the field and throw the football and get your team back in it, and you're watching as your defense is backpedaling as Wilson puts together a 15-play, 90-yard drive. Not much you can do to bring your team back when you're standing on the sideline.
No, when you're standing on the sidelines, you can't do much about it. And I think the biggest keys to this game was field position and Wilson's defense just shutting down Township's run, and they pretty much knew what they had to stop with the pass, and they did that tonight.
So the Wilson Bulldogs win it by a final score of 21-5. Our producer tonight, Paul Podolsky, our director, Corey Clark. For my partner, Matt Lytle, my name is Bob McCool. We thank you for watching. Again, the final score, Wilson 21, Manheim Township 5. We thank you for tuning in, everyone. Have yourselves a great weekend.